Hello, everybody. It's me, it's Andy, Decayed Andy. It's him, it's Mikey. We are here for Moonbase 2-in. We're in the pre-show, pre-ramble. Hello, Mikey.
Hello.
You good?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, not bad. The darkness is coming in, which is kind of nice. The cold weather is now here upon us, which I'm always happy about. It does mean that I will probably need to do some heavy gardening during the winter months. But that's, the plants won't grow back if I kill them during the winter, so that's good. That's a plus. I just need to get moist while doing it, probably. But, yeah. I got my chainsaw. I got a chainsaw this week and got to, I got a chainsaw last week and got to use it this week, and I didn't self-harm with it, so that was a plus.
I mean, I have no response to that beyond, nah.
Yeah. It was really fun to use it as well. There are like chadly manly guys who are like, why do you collect children's toys? I'm like, why do you collect like adult men toys? Because that's what a chainsaw is. It's a toy for men or ladies. If you want to be a chainsaw and lady, you can be. But it is a giant toy because it's fun to use. I do kind of think of them as more a tool thing, but mostly it's so much fun to use a chainsaw. Have you used a chainsaw?
Yeah, once or twice.
Did you not enjoy it? Have fun? Just like ripping through the trees?
I just sat there going like, okay, next. Okay, next.
Wow, no, I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed like just ripping and tearing. I could see why Texas went on a chainsaw massacre.
In your head, were you literally just going chainsaw, yay?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. I was doing the Chainsaw Man theme,
Indeed.
Yeah, good stuff. Young Mikey, shall we get to Transformer Ring? Because we don't have a huge amount of news this week, but we got some.
We have enough to picture.
We have two pecks to amuse ourselves with.
Two pecks.
Yeah, you are recording with your Audacity, yes? I can't remember if I asked you before we started or not.
Yep.
All right, cool. I will play the music and we'll get hitting it. All right, music time.
Woo!
Welcome to Moonbase 2.
Okay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Moonbase 2 podcast. My name is Andy, Decayed Andy, and I'm joined by the man who is not on Hasbro Pulse. It's Mikey G. Wolfie 3. Hello, Mikey.
I don't think I've ever actually bought anything from Hasbro Pulse.
Oh, I meant like the actual event, because I'd like to see you as a presenter.
Skimmed it. I would be a bad presenter. Too sarcastic.
So would I, because I wouldn't be able to be serious. I'd be like, I couldn't be overly. I couldn't be happy with anything. I'd just be like, oh yeah, that's okay, that's cool, yeah. How
could you'd have the biggest problem for you with there's a script and Andy's like, I don't do no script.
Yeah, I'd be like, I'm not, because they'd be wanting me to read it and I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna mess that up. Don't make me read it. I'll make a mess. I don't want to do that. Can you imagine me trying to read a teleprompter? I'd be squinting. I'd be like, what's this? Mikey, what's that word? What's that word right there? And you'd be like, I don't know.
It's just like, yeah, but like the thing is, like, I wouldn't be there. You'd just be saying it out of habit.
Yeah, I'd be saying it into my microphone, be like, Mikey will send me a DM. Mikey, what's the word say? I don't know. It says something. There's a few bits of, there's a very, very, very few bits of news to talk about before we get into the event. We got a Prime reveal, animated Legacy Optimus Prime reveal during the week. We got a partial Windblade one, which we talked about last week. We got the Bumblebee reveal last week as well. I'd say 3 reveals prior to the show is, oddly enough, probably quite good for a Hasbro reveal event, right?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I would also say, like, I am kind of shocked that there were things that came out that, because we got that full like list. It was just like, here's the breakdown for Legacy United.
Yeah.
And then like there are 2 figures that were not on that list.
Yeah. At least the big one. Well, I would say the big one, but I guess we'll
I'd say the 2 big ones. There's 2 big ones.
I thought Tidal Wave had already been announced. Had it not?
No. Just very, very rumored.
Oh, maybe I just assumed because we had Armada Megatron that we, it's like we haven't had Jetfire announced for Armada Optimus Prime, right? They're gonna do him.
I mean, hopefully, like
it would
make a lot of sense.
I'll give you a reason why I think there's no reason why they wouldn't, because on the Armada Optimus Prime, you know how he has the little Autobot insignia on his super mode in the middle of his boob.
Yeah,
that's removable, and there's a port there. So that seems to me like a place where a Jetfire chest plate will go and peg into. Otherwise, why have that as a removable piece? Just makes sense to me. But before that, we had apparently Thailand Comic Con. We had the first look at the YOLO Park AMK series, Rise of the Beastos, Mirajo, and Bimblebee movie Soundwave prototypes. So, few images here, not a lot, but very strangely proportioned Mirage, right?
Yeah.
Does he have like a really big head?
Yeah, like I don't know if it's the angle or whatever. I don't really remember. Like Mirage is fairly tall, so
yeah,
he's quite tall and lanky. So like his head just looks big.
It feels like the rest, like it looks to me like its big head mode has been enabled on the figure. Like it's scaled up to, I don't know how, like 100% bigger than it should be. Like it's double the size and what it probably should be.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird thing. Like I will say, like, I still want to pick up the Optimus Primal. I missed
YOLO.
him I missed him at TF Nation, but just because I'm curious about how that system works and what kind of figure it results in. And he is probably my favorite of the Rise of the Beast designs.
Do you not think you'll be disappointed about it? Because you've had fake metal build, which is basically the metal build, but cheaper.
Yeah, but he's a different thing again. Like I'm not talking about the giant like $1,400 one. I'm talking about the €30 AMK kit.
Okay, they're the ones where you just kind of they come pre-cut, right, in the plastic tray.
Basically, they seem. What I want to find out are they an action figure that's being sent in pieces, or are they a model kit that's being sent pre-built
and pre-painted, right?
Yeah, and how does that translate into because how does a figure translate when every joint is coming apart before you're putting every joint back together? And how does a model kit experience translate? I'm very, very curious. And I don't mind having a representative of Primal. Like I said, he's probably my favorite design from the movie. And I've no interest in picking up the Studio series or anything like that. So
who's the yellow guy from the Decepticons?
Battletrap.
Yeah, he was probably my favorite.
I don't think he's got one announced, but I think it would be nice if he got one. But
I mean, get a model kit for him. But if we're just talking about best design, my preferred design is probably that one, I guess.
Yeah, I'd be curious, but I wouldn't really be interested in picking any of these up. But
no, oddly enough, I think the other ones are a bit more in proportion. Soundwave looks, looks like
they do this. Yeah, this design's been around for a while now.
Yep. Scourge. Oddly enough, I think Scourge looks a bit like the upgrade kit the DNA did for the kits last week, which is definitely. The more on point, accurate design for him.
Rhinox looks weird in anything to do with this because I don't think there's a single toy of Rhinox that actually completely matches the design of this movie. So I think this is the best Rhinox toy. But it's also boy howdy, does he look generic from the front?
See, I was going to say that, but then I was also going to mention that, is that because I saw such a small amount of Rhinox that my brain doesn't completely remember what he should look like, if you know what I mean.
There is that, but I'd also ask you a question. Okay. Looking at him, put aside your previous knowledge.
Not right? Much, but yes, okay.
So scroll back, look at the other ones. Look at their details. Mm-hmm. Now look at him from the front. Is there any way you'd know he transforms?
Oh, well, not from the front. I guess the giveaway would be the rhino head on his, or the horns on the back, I assume. He's got horns on his back? He does, right?
Does he? He's got a horn, but is that a horn or is that just a spike?
I don't know. I barely remember what Rhinox looks like in this movie.
People tell me he talks, and I still don't believe them.
I'm still sure he said one line. He might not have been on camera, but I'm sure he said one thing.
Yeah.
There's something about this that doesn't look quite right.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as the Mirage, but there's just something is a little bit off.
To be fair, that's kind of how I describe Rise of the Beast.
Something's a little bit off. Yeah, I could see
Something
that.
just doesn't look quite right.
Yeah. Well, it's the script mainly. That was what was off. Then there's Cheetor, who I guess it's the pose and the way that the photo's done. It's hard to tell that that's Cheetor, at least from my eyes. He's got the spears, which is probably the giveaway, and that's about it. I can't say these are the best looking YOLO stuff that we've seen from them. I mean, they're way more expensive stuff. Stuff looks a lot better, at least in my eyes. Big Swing D says Jetfire and Overlord as a Commander 2 priced 2-pack. No, it'll never happen. I'll tell you why. Why sell one figure in a 2-pack when you could sell 2 of them for more, separately for more? And you could say, well, what about the Shad Glass set? That's an exclusive in their repaints. They're not going to do that for 2. Maybe they'd do that for the Power Links version of Jetfire and the Power Links version, or the Energon version of Overload into Ultra Magnus, but otherwise, no, I don't see that happening. I have the Takara Primal in my HLJ shopping basket. Oh, the 2-pack, I assume.
Oh,
that has a Megatron in, right?
Megatron, yeah.
He looked interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't be up for it myself, but he does look. He looks well made.
I think the Megatron had a better robot head, but then he had that weird attempt of the Dino pattern, which wasn't quite. That never
works.
Either.
That never works, in my opinion. That's never actually worked.
No, I disagree. That's worked for the Masterpiece toy, but I would agree it doesn't work here. At least on that Takara Legends one. I think they did a good job replicating it on the Masterpiece toy, but it was obviously a different paint job and probably more expensive paint job compared to the Legends toys, the Legacy 2-pack. How do you class them? What are they classed as? Because they're not really Legacy for Japan only, are they?
No, I think they're just coming out as Generations.
Is that Legacy then for Japan? I don't know. I don't know how Japan works anymore. It was easier when it was back in our day, Mikey, when it was just the Legends line. Back in day
when Megatron had a tie.
Yeah, there was Legends, then Unite Warriors, and then they were told not to do anything fun anymore, and they weren't allowed to do anything fun for.
Well, they did
have the primes.
They did do quite a lot of stuff going up to when would they? Yeah, Power of the Primes was when they. Yeah, that was when they stopped, but they still did. They did do quite a lot of stuff for Power of the Primes because that's when we got the bizarre storyline about every universe coming together and all that.
That's right. It was side fiction, but it wasn't like they were tweaking the toys at that point.
That's when we got.
When Hasbro was told them no more fun, no more doing things, no more big
one guy
Black
Hasbro This one guy at Hasbro just literally burst in and said, "No fun,
no fun for you. It's our property."
But we were having fun.
We were selling stuff to your audience. It's like, exactly. Stop it.
Yeah, stop doing that.
Do you remember that? Man, do you remember how much better the Target Masters were from Japan? They actually came with their Target Masters.
Yeah, there was a lot of things that were better in those days. And we got the better Blast Off, the Nightbird. We got we got Slipstream. We got Pedipalp Black Arachnia, as you said.
Yeah.
But then we also got so many original molds then as well, Japanese only molds.
Man, do you remember?
Do you remember when we got God Bomber?
Yeah, I was just about to say God Jinrai. Wow, that turned that kind of mediocre toy and the retooling they did on just Power Master Prime to Jinrai to Super Jinrai. He became so much better. And then you say they did God Bomber as well. Man, I mean, Big D's in the chat. And he has him, and fuck Big D because I want that. It still looks good.
Hey, here's the Powered Masters. Overlord and a few other guys. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, man. Yeah, the Overlord was again so much better than the American one, and it still justified it.
Came with, and the way the gimmick worked in it as well, and and by the way, buy 2. Why? Because now you can have Overlord.
Yeah, well, one was Giga and one was Mega as Overlord. It's see, we're not taking your sales, Hasbro. We're adding to them. It's
and they sculpted one of the faces on one of them. I don't remember which. I think it might have been Mega to look a bit more IDW-esque if that's what you wanted.
I think that was the American one, right?
No, the American one was very toy, very, very toy.
Was it?
And
okay.
I remember because basically I remember Giga and Mega had different sculpts on the Overlord head, and one of them was a bit more IDW-y. So it was just a time where you felt appreciated, you know.
It was solid. Big D says still got Slipstream and Black Arachnia off to one side on the shelves. I didn't get the Black Arachnia, but I got the Slipstream, luckily. And yeah, got Jinrai and God Bomber. Andy, insert DX crotch chop here. Oh, thanks, dude. Thank you. Mikey, before we get into Pulsecon, the Pulsinator, the goo, tell us some preamble beforehand.
So there was a bit of a weird story this week. If you happen to have ordered a nacelle, so this actually seems to spin off of a previous story, so I'll go into that as well. That Red Wing was coming out with like weird patches on the figure, and people couldn't figure out whether it was mold or some sort of marking or something from the actual production run or something like that. But something was up. Something was amiss. There was something wrong in this town. But they basically went along on their jolly way and said, like, okay. And then people started getting their nacelles. And people were like, cool, we're getting our nacelle. The people who were excited to get a nacelle. That guy. But then they started getting cancellation messages from Hasbro, which read weird, if I'm completely honest. Read a small bit weird. It's like, hey buddy, we're sorry we have to cancel this, but like we wish we'd better news, but we don't. Okay. That don't read like no professional message. So see, I don't, let me double check. Some people have been charged. Basically, people were charged for nacelle last week, and then overnight they started getting cancellation emails and were given refunds. So like they don't have anything else. This is the message they got. Thank you for your recent order from Hasbro Pulse. We wish we were reaching out with better news, but unfortunately the below item is no longer available and we will need to cancel your order. We apologize for any inconvenience. No rhyme or reason. People think it might be because that like whatever run was whatever was going on with Red Wing, maybe that's going on with Nacelle as well. But
some sort of weird plastic issue then. It seems.
Yeah, maybe. Basically, it's weird.
Yeah.
Weird and strange. And if it's strange and different, we don't like it.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's a shame for those people that are in the market for the Red Wing and the Nacelle, I guess. I can't imagine. Well, clearly neither you nor I really care, but it's annoying when that kind of happens. So I wonder what they did. It can't be the mold, because I guess whatever they did with Senator Shockwave hasn't affected him, and he's effectively Nacelle. And Red Wing. No, wait, which one's the Red Wing? Is Red Wing the Earthrise mold, or is Red Wing the Siege mold?
Don't remember.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter, to be honest, but yeah, all right. Yeah. Interesting.
They're very similar to each other.
Yeah, did you want me to do the next one, or do you want to do that one too?
I'll do this one as well. Yeah. So just before we get into it, like, it's been confirmed that Studio Series is going to be revealed in October. So all of Pulsecon this year was Generations, no talk of Studio Series whatsoever. But they've confirmed now it will be taking place on October, or in October rather, at the end of October, and they'll be doing the Studio Series reveals. With that, of course, we have our first Studio Series leak, and it could not be any more exciting. It is a retool of an existing toy. In this case, it is the Junkion redone for a third time into Scrap Heap, which is basically yellow with a new head. I think that's all that's different. We don't see his...
Maybe
we don't. Yeah, no, the chest is different. The chest is definitely different from Wreck-Gar. I don't know if it's different from the other guy. But yeah, we don't know about vehicle mode. If there's any difference there. But again, this doesn't apply to every country. But be aware that in some countries you're being charged €10 more, or 10. The math would be about 25% more for Studio Series Voyager than you are for Generation Voyager, despite the fact that they've been basically interchangeable
Are Americans paying more now that you
some
say that?
are, some aren't.
Oh, really? Oh.
And this has come up in podcasts. I can usually tell which areas are paying more, because the ones that are paying more are a bit more like, and the ones who like either aren't paying more or buy their stuff online and don't care one way or the other. Like, they tend to be a bit more dismissive of it, but it's definitely something to be aware of. Like, I do think it is kind of a public service announcement thing. Be aware of the fact that this is, since 86 kicked off, this has been supplementary to the Generations line. It's being used to fill in what they perceive gaps in the Generations line. You know, remember the sweeps? The sweeps were 25% dearer than Cyclonus in a lot of the countries.
And it was the same, apart from like a slight tint to the blue and a different gun and a slight hand change?
No. I mean, the sweep mold only ever came out in Studio Series, but like Cyclonus and Galvatron were regular Generations. They were Kingdom, I think.
Right, yeah. Because Scourge wasn't as well. That's right.
Scourge and the sweeps, they were in the Studio Series line, and they were 25% more expensive, and they were not 20. They're like, there's nothing more premium about them as a figure.
No, I hear they're good though.
They are good. I have seen them. I have handled them, but.
What about this guy though, Scrap Heap? What do you think of Scrap Heap, Mikey?
Hey, he looks like the other two guys.
Yeah, I mean, he's more distinct with his new head and whatnot, but I don't know if I'm the only one, but it's just, I don't care about the Junkions at all. None of them really do anything for me. I guess maybe this one's a little bit better because he's got a bit more of an interesting color scheme, but the bright yellow on his chest makes him pop a little bit more. In the images, we don't see the alt mode. I assume that's just going to be because he looks exactly like the other bikes, just slightly different colored, which, you know, it is apt and makes sense. But how many other versions of Junkions are we going to get? Because there still are technically a few more different looking dudes, because I remember one that had like goggles or glasses on his head and a little mustache. Are we going to keep getting these? Because the amount of Junkions we've got now, I mean, it's only 3, but it feels like filler, at least to me. Like, just another Junkion. Doesn't do too much for me. It's not like revealing Ultra Magnus or something like that. I think after doing, it's a less interesting version of what we were getting in the last year to me. I'm not like in love with the Junkions as a gimmick, but there were some fairly decent toys in there, and I liked that they did have, like, you know, they've got engineering in them to do like more than just be there. They've got the legacy ones,
gimmick.
Right?
Yeah,
right. Okay.
So this is essentially, here's another Junkion. Yeah, it's 25% more expensive. Yeah, and it does less than the Voyager Junkion we just got. Like, finances are very much having a severe effect on how I perceive these at the moment, just because Studio Series having that price hike. Like, the Studio Series Gamer Voyagers are 10 euros more than regular Voyagers. And there is not 10 euros more toy there. Like, I like my Optimus. I'm a bit dubious about getting Megatron with all the QC talk, but I don't think it's an unfair statement to say that there is an artificial markup. I
don't think that they're £10 more dear here. I think that it's more like a few pounds, because they're about 34, and I think Voyagers are about, I guess it depends on the Voyager. It's like 30. Like, I know Armada, Starscream, and Inferno were 30, but I think some of the Voyagers are 27. The Voyagers seem weirdly inconsistent.
They're the price point that jumps the most. Yeah,
they're kind of all over the shop. It feels like they were in the 30s, and now they've kind of reduced them, but they've kept the Studio Series, like you say, the Gamer ones up in cost for whatever reason. Because if like the Megatron and the Prime, well, the Megatron, I'll probably deal without the Prime. The Megatron comes down into cheapo territory, like £22. I'll pick it up.
Yeah, I've just checked. The Voyagers in UK Generations are 30, Studio Series are 35, which actually means that your Voyagers are more expensive than our Voyagers at the moment.
Hey, we're beating you. Haha, fuck you, Mikey. Wait, that's not how that works. I guess another Junkion to me isn't that impressive. I don't know who else they do for the 86 movie line, though. They have to be running out. Quintesson?
Probably.
Oh, dear. Well, it's better than the Earthrise one, because that Earthrise one was kind of rough. Yeah, I don't know. Apart from like background characters who we've already had toys of, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of like who you could do and just like maybe Arbalest and that lot.
Oh, Kranix. You do Kranix.
Give this Arbalest through Necron.
Yeah.
Give the squid a robot mode.
Oh, that could be quite fun. No,
I'd
that's
be
too
up
creative.
for that.
Yeah,
I'd be up for that. I would.
could-
Oh, no. You give it. You. Oh no, I fixed it.
Huh?
Scuba.
Who?
You do scuba.
Oh, Scuba.
but
I thought you said Goober.
No, you do scuba, but you give him his alt mode. You base it off of the movie Squid.
That'd be fun. I think that's a bit too creative, but yeah, that could be interesting. I'd be down with that. Big D says in chat, crazy that the last couple of years we've now had 8 Junkions. Yeah, we've had a lot of Junkions recently across the Studio Series and Legacy line. Studio Series is a tad frustrating as they were supposed to be premium decos in engineering. Whew, that was a long time ago, it feels like.
That I always thought that was a market. Like I remember the original because like the Studio Series spun out of the premium line for it would have been last night.
Yeah,
last night, which were like more expensive, and they were saying like, oh well, the more complicated engineering, and just like wasn't that much more complicated than a non-movie toy.
No.
And then Studio Series spun out of that, and there was this element of prestige and collector, the two most dangerous things you could really push, which was prestige and collector. So that always struck me. It's just like, oh, this is telling me that you're spending more money. Yeah, which means you're a collector.
You're a big boy. These are big boy toys for big boys.
Holds up like one of the old Voyagers or something like that. Like original Voyager Optimus points at you. You are a big boy now. I'm a lady. You're a big boy now.
A big boy, yeah. You don't need to be like being a big boy is not defined by a gender. You're either a big boy or you're not.
Being a big boy is gender free.
Yeah, exactly. It's and then there's just like the Japanese collector who collects like Play Arts Kai or Figmas who just laughs in Japanese at you and you're like, I'm a true big boy.
Yeah, so who's ever getting those Bring Arts Final Fantasy stuff.
They look so good, but they don't look $75 a pounds good, unfortunately.
No, I saw like several retailers, like HLJ, I think had them for like 90.
No, they were £70.
I think red was $90.
Okay, yeah. It's a shame because that's like the best looking Red 13 figure. I mean, they're the best looking Final Fantasy 7 figures, I would say. But I have so much issues with just making everything look realistic, but that's the Final Fantasy brand now.
They've been doing that. They've been doing that since Advent Children.
Yeah, no, they've done it since 8. Like 8 was when they started really pushing it into realism.
8 was realistic.
9, they went, let's go for fun, and then from 10 they went, okay, now we'll make it more realistic again, and they just didn't stop from 10. It's like, okay.
Yeah, and then the visuals for 12 was weird. They were trying to do like realistic, but a period piece. 12
was with Vaughn, wasn't it?
Yeah.
12 was when was just a fucking mess.
12 was when they made a game around having a protagonist. They did most of the game, and then so they went up to someone and said like, right, so this is our game, and they said like, this isn't a pretty boy.
Yeah,
you need a pretty boy.
Where's that sexy pretty boy?
Fuck. Vaughn. How relevant will Vaughn be? We have 2 weeks.
He'll be as relevant. I'm trying to think of like he'll be as relevant as Chocobo Bill. In 7.
Oh no! Don't be mean to Chocobo Bill. Chocobo Bill is more relevant than Vaughn. You have to talk to Chocobo Bill at one point, and he provides a service.
Yeah, he gives you the chicken for the Midgarzolum, and that's it.
Yeah, that is way more than Vaughn ever did for literally anyone.
I'm sure he was there for the ladies. You know, he was there for something for the ladies to ogle at.
They didn't like him. They liked the guy here. They liked Bosch, who was originally supposed to be like one of the protagonists. They thought Bosch was awesome.
I'm sure there were ladies out there that thought Vaughn was pretty and wanted to mommy him. I'm sure there are a few, not many, but I'm sure there were a few.
One person who happened to be like the wife of the CEO of Square, and just like, I want a pretty boy in the game, honey. Yeah. Put the pretty boy in the game.
Honey, I either get my pretty boy in Final Fantasy 12 or I go to the host clubs. Which would you prefer? I'll fucking put in Vaughn, piss sake. Bloody host clubs with the pretty men, bastards. So yeah, this is a Scrap Heap If you want scrap heap, there's another junkie coming. Woo. Mikey, should I take us on to PulseCon? The Pulsinator. Pulse with the Thu and the Dan. They did fun. They were
good. They were really good.
I hate to say they were way more professional than the Hasbro crew, who just were like, oh, here's
someone did say the Hasbro crew, like, Mark looked high.
Which one was Mark? Was Mark the Transformers guy in the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah, he always looks like that from what I've seen in like images of him. No offense, if he wants to come on and talk about how he's not high, we can do that.
I just don't know what the legal thing in Rhode Island is for drugs.
I mean, everything's legal in Rhode Island.
Is it?
No, I don't know.
Rhode Island, May 25th, 2022, Rhode Island Cannabis Act was signed into law, legalized possession, home growing of and sale of small amounts of marijuana for recreational purposes.
Mikey is not suggesting that any of the Hasbro crew are making their own weed and smoking it before PulseCon. He's implying that other people are saying that on the internet. Is that right, Mikey?
No, I'm just pointing out they would not be breaking any laws if they were.
Okay, that's fine. I think you implied that other people were saying that, though.
You cannot say I'm implying anything for legal sake.
No, other people. It's fine that other people are saying it. You're not saying it yourself. Other people are saying it. That's what you were saying. Andy, you picked the wrong picture to have up to dispute that point. No. I chose the right one. So the first thing that we got was the poster, and the poster was kind of broken down into a few images.
The dark set member of Skeletor's group, Post Or.
I actually thought the rock guys in the bottom. I thought the big grey one, I actually thought was Movie Megatron, and I got really annoyed and confused.
That was Movie Megatron most of the time, to be fair.
I was like, why is he in the Legacy line? He's in the Studio Series line.
The G1 version of Movie Megatron.
Oh, God. He's made of rocks. Nothing but rocks.
That's the only way they could justify it.
The post obviously had a lot of stuff in. I think all of it is shown. It's odd that like the rock guys on the bottom are on the top as well. People are guessing that maybe that is like they're going to be replaced with the other characters in the movie for the poster. Just kind of
this is all wave, bar a couple of things. This is all only wave 1 characters.
Yeah. I thought it seemed a bit small because it felt like we got everything revealed apart from 2. The first actual figure that we start off with was Energon Core Class Megatron. Galvatron. Well, it depends where you're from. Japan is Galvatron, America is
Galvatron. Yeah, and then he's Super Megatron and Super Galvatron.
This figure's, in my opinion, he is fine for the core class. He's pretty much identical to his original version. There's only a few bits that are like different from the original version because that I think when we talked about the core the original reveal of the name, we were like, oh yeah, you don't have to do too much to make him work as a core class, and they haven't.
Nope. He's a very simple toy, and they've made him more simple. They made him a little angrier looking. Yeah,
I will say the head sculpt's better than on the original release. It's probably as good as the Japanese version.
I don't remember the original release's head. I remember the one I had, which just stared at me.
Which one did you? You had the Voyager, didn't you?
I had the Leader.
Oh yeah, that's the one I mean. Yeah, because you looked up the Ultra class, and there was that one, and you were like, ugh, yeah, that one wasn't good. The Voyager was the better one. You looked up the Voyager last time we talked about this. I remember, and you went, that looked way better.
Okay, I don't have a long-term memory.
That's fine. You're a teacher. You don't meant to know. The one thing that I said, what I thought was disappointing about this when I first saw it was there's no waist joint, and I think that's a real bummer. I think the quality of a core class can be determined by if it has a waist joint, and there's no reason why this couldn't have a waist joint. Apart from parts count and money, I guess.
Yeah, I'd say that's really the controller there.
Yeah.
Not really a priority for them either, of course, but
I would say, like, you know, getting them as posable as possible for the smallest guys, it'd be nice to aim for. It doesn't do all of the gimmicks. If you want to peg the shoulder guns forward, you're going to have to unpeg them instead of just swinging them on a hinge. He has his tank sword, which was awkward in the original show, and it's awkward on the original toy, and it's less awkward here because it's not quite as big, but it still just looks fucking weird. But it always did. It misses out the gimmick where you pulled the wing back and the little engine thing kind of went outwards.
Yeah, and he got a little pointy uppy bits.
It was shit. It was never good. It didn't do anything to the silhouette, so I don't care that it's not there. But if you did, it's not. Possible
and his shoulder thing images now, like, they don't bend, but you can like turn them so they've got extra slots and they can become guns.
Yeah, I mentioned that you have to unpeg them and peg them forward instead of swinging them down. But yeah,
I missed that. My brain shut off there for a second. Sorry.
You're dying. It's okay. I didn't mention that he could hold them for guns. But yeah, I guess he could do that. I think it's okay. Is it the least in? Yeah, it's the second least. It's the second best core class figure that they reveal here, I would say.
I kind of just sort of look at this and go like, cool, Energon Megatron, I'm good.
Yeah, they did mention like, hey guys, if you want more Energon toys, you should let us know. And I'm like, yeah.
What other toys from Energon would people want? Scorponok?
The Terracons, all of the Terracons.
Terracons,
Sharktacon. Yes, he was really fucking cool as well.
None of the Autobots,
No.
Basically.
Oh no, Landmine. Landmine was really cool.
Yeah, was he in Energon?
Yes.
Landmine and Bulkhead.
Less so Bulkhead, but I'd be okay with Bulkhead.
I keep the gimmick.
Bulkhead / Springer, depending on where you're from again. What was it called in Japan? What was Landmine in Japan?
Oh,
was he Landmine?
Don't know.
I don't know. But Landmine was legit really fucking cool.
Yeah, that was a fun gimmick.
Yeah. Well, it was way better than the other Autobot ones, which was just poorly super mode them, turn them into pants, which was kind of rough. It's like, yeah, who else? Shock Blast. Shock Blast. I'd be okay with that. I never loved Shock Blast design. I
was
okay with it because it was the most G1 Shockwave we had at the time.
He very much did that thing where he kind of transformed into nothing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, his alt mode was shite, and the gimmick really messed up his arm articulation. In the show, he could like move the gun tips. It was kind of like a hand in that toy. Man, it didn't do anything. Bless him. I'd say the Energon Starscream, but that's using the mold from like G2 era Smokescreen.
I would love it if they did Energon Starscream and they literally just kept that fucking transformation. Like, we're using the exact same transformation scheme that was used in a Beast Wars toy. Which was actually going to be used in a G2 toy.
It was used in a G2 toy.
Yeah, and now we're going to use it in an Energon toy. Oh, are they the same mold? Nope. Oh, what? Shut up.
They did a cool thing when they did. Do you remember that Orange Jet movie toy that used it was mostly that?
Oh yeah.
I can't remember his name, but that was a really cool figure. I've still got him because he was really interesting. But he still did
Terradive, was it?
Terradive?
Was it Terradive?
Something like that. I know he got redone again for the next movie as a like translucent blue jet, but that was really cool. I've still got that figure. He's really fun. But yeah, that'd be funny if they did that. Otherwise, I don't know. Like, yeah, energy. Yeah, man. No, not on. I thought Ironhide, but then I'm like, fuck Ironhide. He was awful, and he was a shit character. Mirage is just not as good as Tidal Wave. Snowcat was okay. Snowcat was fun. He had the little skis, you know. He had a cool face. He was based off a G.I. Joe vehicle. You remember?
I remember.
Yeah, okay. You just had no reaction. I was like, oh, okay, fair enough. Hellcat says, I'd like Legacy Misha Mirandan, whatever her name is, cough.
Wasn't Miranda the ship?
Maybe that was just her last name. I never paid attention to what
Miranda was the mother, was Kicker's mother.
Was it?
And then they named the ship the Miranda.
I'll take your word for it. How about this? I could compromise and we could say put her in the Bishojo line, you know, along with the Megatron and the other stuff. There you go. That would work. You could have them in the sexy poses and skin tight outfits. Everybody wins. Vector Prime with Cybertron, ignore me. Oh, no worries, Big D. Yeah, Terradive and Space Case. That was the one, Space Case. against Straxus. Fuck off, Big D. He says legacy kicker. Fuck off. No one wants kicker. Maybe the worst human ever.
Why would anyone want? No one wanted kicker then. Even the guy who voiced kicker doesn't want kicker. Both guys who voiced kicker don't want kicker.
I don't blame him. I hate kicker. What a toss.
No one likes kicker.
No, he's awful. Next up, we had the Tasmanian Kid, who I was shocked that he wasn't a redo of Rat Trap.
Same.
He is different. The Tasmanian Kid mode is a little scary. Mikey, you're an anthropologist. How happy are you with...
None of that either is true or applies here remotely. What the fuck? You're an anthropologist. Tell me about this Tasmanian devil.
It's the same thing, right? Yeah, same thing. You're a marine biologist, Mikey. Tell me about Tasmanian Kid.
Oh my god. You're a marine biologist. Tell me about this tree.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Yeah. I'd say his Tasmanian Kid mode is it's fine.
I don't like the front legs.
No.
Because they didn't even pretend to put a joint in.
Well, it's not even that. I think my issue more so is there's no blending of the fur. It looks like an entirely separate piece. If they'd try to have a little bit of brown around the top, so it was almost like the fur was blending into the leg, that might help a bit. But
they've got a similar color on the head, and that blends in a bit better.
Yeah,
not amazingly, but it blends in. I think the beast mode's fine.
It's fine. Yeah, it's not
goofy
great.
when it has the mouth closed. It looks like the robot mode's fun though.
Yeah, it's exactly what you'd want it to be. I like how the image that they had on the stream was a completely different brown because of the photography, but looked more maroon. But yeah, he looks like he should. I thought it was funny how the Hasbro team didn't know too much about the character. Which was
I what was it you said he had to tell them don't say Beast Wars 2?
Yes.
And because you'll get lambasted in the chat. And apparently there was a lot of lambasting in the chat before they even started, which I think meant that it was either the Hasbro guys or it was Stu and Dan had to literally say like, calm down now.
I will mention that it was weird at the start of the stream that they were like, hey, everybody, let's be really kind to each other. Let's not be mean. Let's not do anything silly to each other. And I was like, what is this?
I found out afterwards, like, it was like the chat had like been kicking off for like 20 minutes beforehand.
You know what you don't do, Mikey? You don't throw gasoline on a fire. And I don't think doing stuff like that. Whenever someone says, hey, kid, Mikey, you're a teacher. What do you not do to kids? You don't make it worse, right?
Treat them like equals.
Exactly. You take away their privileges. You
break their spirit and then laugh when they think they're tough.
Oh man, Tasmanian Kid. I'm pretty happy with him. He's got a stupid weapon. It still looks silly. I did see somebody. Hang on. I did see somebody, and I think I saved it because I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." I think I saw somebody do a digibash of this into Gas Skunk, which I thought was.
Oh, that's cool. It was what was the blue one? There was a blue or a purple version of him from Robot Masters. What was it?
Oh yeah,
I think it had a really weird note. Psycho Orb.
Yeah, I had that. Psycho Orb. Yeah, they could do a repainted. That would be easier because you wouldn't have to remold anything.
Well, like they could just re-release him and just change the name of the box to Snarl. No, it's not Psycho Orb. What was it? They could change the name to Snarl.
Oh, I wish like this would open. Oh my god.
What was his name?
Psycho Orb was the armadillo, wasn't he? From Robot Masters.
So who was? Let me see. Bound Rogue. That's a much better
yes,
name.
What a.
He looked awesome. His colors are awesome.
They're interesting.
Oh man, I love that. Do him. I love these colors.
You like Bound Rogue?
Oh man, Bound Rogue looks awesome.
Hang on. Why do you like Bound Rogue so much?
Those colors are great.
Is it just the colors? Because I don't know.
Yeah, those colors are. Who cares about Bound Rogue as a character? He showed up in the Robot Masters manga for fuck's sake.
Did he? Oh my god.
Oh my god, the colors are great.
I can't actually get anything to load up at the moment, so I'll pull those images up later. I guess I can't even get Bound Rogue up because Google's not responding. Anyway, I'd say this is a pretty solid looking figure. Looking forward to getting him. Probably my favorite of the core class figures, I suppose. And then we had my least interested one, which was God, what was Rock Bike Man called?
Bike Face.
Bike Face Bot. Boulder Bot
Bike Face. There was. Oh my god, what was his name? Let me double check. His name was. His name was what? Boulder Crash.
Ah, yes, Boulder Crash. Boulder Crash.
He's
the
robot
bike.
mode. I kind of like the robot mode, and I just don't like the vehicle mode very much. It looks badly laid out.
Yeah, my main issue with the bike mode is how the wheels are on the back of the legs.
They're so tiny as well.
Well, it's just
to the body.
They're just wheels on the side of the legs, which I think looks weird. I don't like either of the rock guys. I think they look like bad Flintstones vehicles.
Yeah.
The robot modes, I think, are okay. I think they would have done much better if they'd made these into some sort of like rock monsters. I think that would have served them better.
I suppose it would be hard to like sell that to people, but
what do you mean?
Kids. I mean, like kids are just like, here, kid, buy a rock.
Yeah, but a monster rock. I'm not sure.
But like,
I'm not sure you sell me more on it. Like,
you mean like actually just like here's a rock like beast mode or something like that?
Yeah, like this, like the quote unquote robot mode. Instead of turning into a bike, he turns into like a rock salamander or like a pterodactyl that's made of rock, something like that. So like a mythical creature but made of stone. Something like that.
That's not a bad idea.
I prefer more than the weird Flintstone vehicles. Like I say, people are guessing that these are going to be a combiner in the same kind of fashion of the Junkions, etc., which would make sense because I hear that did fairly well for them. But yeah, the robot mode I like. I like the painting on the figure as well. I think it's way better than the other rock guy. I like that they've tried to make it look magma-y, but on a shoestring budget of just like slapping a little bit of red. Yeah, not great though. Not great. Not one that I was desperately thrilled by, in all honesty. They did show the other rock guy next with his massive rock boob. It feels like he's very unpainted, this figure. But I guess you're making him a stone. And I really dislike his car mode. What do you think of Rockman Car?
Magnus, I think his name is.
Yeah, Rockman Car.
I assumed he was a retool. Then people told me he's not. No. He looks like he's a retool of that first Junkion to me. It's fine. It's messy. But I'm like, I don't really have a strong feeling either way.
I just don't like it.
I think it's lacking a lot of paintwork. I think it's going to be like, I think these are going to end up the most forgettable ones because like you had these kind of this all started with like Six Gun and all that, which means they're like classic characters, and then you had a bit of an expansion of that, and then you had the Fossilizer, which is like fossil dinosaur things, and then you had Junkions, which is playing into like the legacy element, and now you just got rocks of that don't really look that interesting as characters.
No, I don't think so. They look okay as like robots, but they don't hold the significance of like a Junkion. So they are like the Junkions are new looking characters, but there is that connection of being like, they're from the movie. While these are just rock people. How do you think these stack up in your mind compared to the Fossilizers? Because
I think the Fossilizers are a more fun gimmick than most of them because you can make kaiju out of them a lot easier. I know people came up with that one for the Junkion, but like I don't think it looks very good.
Oh, you don't like the Junkion Rex? I kind of like that.
Yeah, but for me, it's like the thing about these guys is not that they can go on to the main figures. It's that they stick them together and see what you make. And that's why I like the Fossilizers best because like their look translates well to that. Like I don't feel the other ones really did it. I don't think anyone did it as well as the Fossilizers did, to be honest. I think the first one with Six Gun and that lot were probably the best for like just being weapons.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think these are going to be fine. I don't think they're going to like leave a lasting memory on me, certainly.
It'd be interesting to see what people do with them, I suppose. Like when they break them up and mush them together into a thing, what will those things be? Because I think the car turns into a hammer of some description.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what people come up with for this.
Yeah, I agree. Big DC says, I mean, it's kind of interesting that they've based the Armorizers on a combo of Episode 1 Headmasters, Rock Lords, and Inhumanoids. Yeah, it's a neat idea. I don't think it hits it for me, though.
Yeah, it's just not. For me, it's like cool, but like aesthetically, they're not working for me. Like I was way more into the visuals of the Junkions, just because these kind of like actual Rock Lords. These Rock Lords were a fun gimmick, but let's be honest, they were never good designs.
I don't know about. I don't think they were interesting like alt modes. I think the designs of them were interesting on the basis that they were just weird shaped things. They looked like neat monsters that you get in Monsters in My Pocket. Or like they'd be in a Ray Harryhausen kind of film, kind of style, which I liked, but you know, I never saw them as a child, and they clearly didn't do well because they were fucking rocks, you know?
Yeah.
Big D also says, I realized what was bugging me about the car mode. It reminds me of when Mythbusters laid a car in concrete armor. That was a thing? They did that? Huh. Doesn't sound like a good idea.
Yeah.
I will say the thing I do like about the car mode is they have like a metal mesh over the front windscreen, which kind of makes me think of like a zombie horror movie car. You defend stuff, but yeah, not too fussed on Rockman. Bimblebee, they showed Bimblebee next with better transformed arms, but they're still messy, I think.
I think they look a lot better. I think they do kind of solidify that as a robot he feels much more generic Bumblebee with an animated head. I think the vehicle mode is good, and I do think the head sculpt is good. I think it could be a fun bit of engineering. I just don't feel like the robot mode has a lot of character outside of the head.
I still really dislike how the biceps are attached to the shoulders. I still think that looks pretty messy, even in the fixed shoulder transformation. Was there anything else you wanted to say about Bumblebee, or I mean, we kind of talked about him last week. So.
No, I'm good to go on.
All right, Chase is next. They kind of hinted that we'll be really impressed with who they make Chase into in the next like year or two, which kind of suggests to me that this is the repaint.
Everyone's saying lockdown. Everyone's saying lockdown.
Somebody said, I can't remember who it was. I saw somebody said barricade, and I was like, but why? Like, what version of Barricade would this be? Because it can't be the movie, because that would be Studio Series. And it can't be the IDW version, because that's Blue Streak, but purple. So you say, so this could be Lockdown?
Yeah, Cyberverse Lockdown is what people are thinking.
Oh, okay. I was thinking animated Lockdown or the movie Lockdown. Okay, maybe.
And Cyberverse Lockdown, he's quite a chunky boy.
I thought the idea still was they were going to do Lockdown out of the Junkion. Not the Junkion, the Decepticon Junkion lady.
Yeah, like that was a theory, but that was never really confirmed. I think basically anytime you see a low-hanging car, the theory is going to be it's going to be Lockdown some way. But yeah, I think Chase looks fine. The face is very different from standard, and in this line, you'll notice most of the characters, bar one, have a lot more in line with their original facial structure. Even then, I think it's a lot more in line with like Skyquake than say the first run of Prime characters, but we'll talk to that. But he just like, some people are very excited for Chase. I watched like 2 episodes of Rescue Bots back in the day and said like, cool, not for me in any way, shape, or form, but I'm glad people are happy.
That was it?
No.
Okay, you just stopped your sentence. I thought you were going to say something else. You just. I
think I got cut off.
Okay. I think Chase is fine. I think my problem with Chase is he's got a very kind of background character look to him. The head sculpt looks more faithful than any of the Prime head sculpts have ever been, so that's annoying for a Transformers Prime fan. I just kind of look at Chase and go, yeah. All right, sure. I guess Hot House or whatever, the fire truck heat wave could still happen. We're still waiting for a redo of that Bulkhead toy anyway, so it could happen now that Chases came out, I suppose. Yeah, would I prefer this to be Lockdown? Yeah, I'm more interested to see the redo of this than the actual version of this toy. I'm also not like they mentioned. I couldn't remember the guy who designed it, but I recognize that they mentioned that the way that they did the waist here is indicative of how that guy does waist joints. And I looked at it and went, "Oh yeah, he's the guy that did the skids and crankcase mold." Because they've got the exact same way of doing those waists, which I'm not a big fan of. I think there are cleaner ways to do the waist, but it's fine. It's all right. Windblade, specifically Cyborverse Windblade, who's not very accurate to Cyborverse, I would say.
Kind of. You can see some design influences, but
I guess they've G1'd her up.
Like, let me. I haven't looked at the Cyberverse design online before I start talking out of my ass. So
the shoulders are incorrect. The shoulders aren't right. The face isn't quite right either.
Oh, the face is completely wrong.
Yeah,
the face is 100% wrong. Okay. So reference shoulders. Wrong. More in line with like the RAD Windblade, I'd say.
Yeah.
Face is basically the same thing they've been doing with a lot of G1 Windblades, which is giving her the face lines, but they've given her such deep ones, like super, super recessed. It looks like she's just got this massive frown on.
Yeah.
And it's weird. The wings are like it is Cyberverse Windblade wings, but they're missing detail and they're hollow on the inside when they really should be hollow on the other side.
And
feels
the turbines are way too small as well.
Turbines are way too small. The leg details are more detailed, but they're kind of in line.
It's about right.
And she's got about right size feet. But like people are showing like you take off her wings, she's got more normal looking proportions. But yeah, it's a bit odd. I'm not like I was hoping she'd work out because I like Cyberverse a lot and I like Windblade a lot, and it has been a while since we've had either of those. And I don't count Shadow Striker because that's the wrong Shadow Striker. But then like I don't love the sword either, how they did the sword effect. But one thing I at my most generous, this is a discount buy as robot mode, and then I look at the vehicle mode and just like the hell.
The vehicle mode isn't even close to being accurate to any Windblade. Any of them.
The vehicle is just bad. Forget accuracy.
Yeah.
It just looks it's terribly laid out.
Yeah,
like
it's messy. It's
ugly none of it
works. None of it works. It doesn't mesh together. It doesn't flow into a jet mode. It looks like there's the front half, then there are the wings, then there are the back legs. They feel like they're from three different things. You say it doesn't lie flat either. Like if you look in one picture, like the bits of her shins are pointing down, and she can't actually lie down on them. I would say happily, this might be the worst Windblade alt mode out of all of the Windblade figures. No, I'm not even joking. I think this is the worst. She does keep the Windblade tradition of never doing any transformation with her arms. No Windblade toy from Hasbro has ever transformed the arms. None of them.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
People are very excited to say she can stand, but to be honest, here's the thing. To be honest, no one's been vaguely concerned about that since the Thrilling 30 mold.
Since the original one. I don't think you should be excited for a figure that can stand. That is the lowest bar. That's like
when they do this,
I'm happy my toy doesn't fall apart and turn to dust in my hands.
I think this is going to be like a 5 out of 10 figure if I was to give it a numerical rating. I think it's going to be average. I think probably the robot mode will be fairly fun.
Yes.
But I don't think much will be like the transformation. I think is going to be a nightmare. I'd be curious because this is almost certainly going to be Slipstream as well. So I'm curious to see how that'll turn out.
It might work better as Slipstream because they might be able to do something with the plane mode to make it more look like a jet, maybe.
And if they do Cyberverse, like Slipstream is bulkier in Cyberverse.
Yeah.
So that gives you another option.
Hey, Mikey, you can take the fan off the back of her head.
Cool.
That hasn't been a thing since the original toy. No, the original toy you could.
The original toy did it, but like she's never actually done it in any medium.
No, because why would you? It's a stupid gimmick.
Because she's a geisha, Andy.
She is. That's fine. I actually.
So we don't talk about what a geisha is when we say she's a geisha. We don't point out what a geisha actually was.
Oh. Well, it's not child friendly, to be fair.
No, but you should have thought about that when you were making it.
It's a cool design. Geishas are really cool. They're just inappropriate for children.
Remember Ninjika? Do you remember Ninjika? She was a robot that was made into a geisha. What do you think he was planning to do with her?
Respect her. Pay her money and respect her from afar, like a VTuber. Yes. I'd say this is not a very good, to be honest. Big D says, I dig this Windblade, if nothing else, just as good good version of the character. Next response, harsh. Yeah, we were not kind. I actually bought the RID Windblade warrior figure over this week because I saw this and I got really annoyed and I went, I wonder if the RID figure is better. And I think it looked it, so I've bought it, so I'll be getting that during the week to see if I like it. Because I actually liked the robot mode for that warrior figure, and it wasn't hampered down by too much anus, like some of them. The only problem with
she wasn't super gimmicky, if I remember right.
No, that was the thing that helped her. The only problem with her and like most of them is they have the big QR Autobot insignia code, but that's
her colors were weird.
Yeah, they were wrong. Yeah, the Japanese one were correct, but I couldn't find it, and I bet that would have been more expensive. I got the adventures.
Yeah, I'm after double checking. Those shoulders are from they're from RID Windblade.
And it's fine. I look forward to getting the RID toy because it looks okay. And I think it would be better than that. Axel Hedge says, honestly, Windblade will be the best Cyberverse figure, but she's still jank. Oh, who's the other Cyber? Yeah, Shadow Striker.
He's doing this to hurt me specifically, isn't he?
I mean, Hasbro is. They're targeting you. Next up, we had Thundertron.
Thunder. That had some weird responses that I do want to talk about in a second. But go on.
So Thundertron was not shown with his parrot foot, but he apparently can do it. At least in the stream. No, I didn't hear them say it, but Mikey told me that they did.
It comes off, and there's been pictures of him with the peg leg, but they've only shown the foot now attached to the sword, so I don't know if you can
parrot mode it.
Yeah,
I don't know. Looking at the foot, it looks like maybe you could faux the parrot mode, because that was the most important discovery anyone made about a figure, that you can make the bird, that you could make a foot look kind of like a bird, and it's like that's good enough, and it works for a pirate. I got annoyed with this figure because people were like, "Wow, it's so accurate to the original figure." It's not. I wish I could bring it up.
Some ways it's better.
I don't. I dislike this.
I love that toy a lot. I was very, very fond of Thundertron. There were several things about that toy I think were jank.
Oh yeah, definitely. There were a lot of issues with it, but in terms of just its look and silhouette,
think in some ways this looks better.
Oh, I don't.
If I'm honest,
I disagree.
Like I've got the picture up now. There's some things I think the original Thundertron did a lot better. Like I think the shoulder, like in robot mode, I think having the shoulders be these big claw spikes was better. And I think having the more fur detail on the on the forearms was good. And I think having the bit of teal on the stomach was good. I'm neither one way or other. I like the original head. I'm not really too bothered about the more G1-y head here, but I think the beast mode is miles better. I remember getting so fucking frustrated with that beast mode, and I think this it doesn't look like a lion, but then neither did the original.
No, I 100% agree that the Liga mode, whatever, is better. I disagree that the robot mode is a better design. I strongly disagree with that. I much prefer the original's design. This one, I wish my internet or computer wasn't shitting a bed because I can't get anything up. I prefer the more lithe look of the original. The side skirts were much, much longer. I liked the original head a lot better. It felt more old. I was going to say epic, but I don't mean epic in terms of whoa, that's epic. I mean mythical kind of design for the face. This looks just like a dude with a beard, and not a great beard. I too also preferred the shoulders with the claws coming up. Again, it made the silhouette a lot more distinct than just having big square shoulders. And
Yeah, what they seem to have done, like they basically gone like, because if you didn't transform him with those, because the claw shoulders are made by the forelimbs, so it's like underneath those you had shoulders that are much more in line with this design.
Right.
So I think that's what they've gone for aesthetically, but I think it would look better if it had them fold over like and form the claw. Like I think you could have done that as well with the design you've gone for without really modifying like or damaging the aesthetic of the beast mode.
That's fair. Like one thing I'll get apart from the Liger mode, I'll give this. It has a workable sword. That's not shit.
Yeah, I
the original
fucking hated that sword. I hate it.
I mean, the transmorph auto spring gimmick thing. No one liked any of those. They were all crap. All of them were crap, and they all hampered all of those figures in that RID line, the Prime RID line. I should specify. But yeah, I don't like this. I think I prefer the original more so. At the end of the day, which is kind of a shame because I thought Thundratron was a neat idea. I've seen people do digibashes of this into your boy from Cyberverse, the lion dude from tiger dude from Cyberverse. What's his name?
Tiger dude from Thunderhowl.
Yeah, I've seen some digibashes of that. It looked okay. Made a lot more sense with the big shoulders.
Yeah, I think it would look. I could see it as a very easy retool as well.
Big D says Leo Breaker. I guess, yeah.
Anything lion-like, I suppose.
Not that there are many. I'll give them props as well, because when we originally talked about Thundratron, I was still positive that they were going to somehow tweak the Leo convoy mold, which they didn't do. So I'll give them props for that. It is a unique mold. But yeah, I don't think this is one you need to rush out and buy, people. I think this one will stay on shelves for a while. I'd be shocked if it didn't.
I would be curious. How much is? I'm actually going to check something. Like not like as someone who is, I'm a bit more positive about this than you are, but I am very curious about something all of a sudden. What if I wanted to get a Prime Thundertron who was not exactly a wildly popular character?
No,
but it was just a fun, like it is a pirate design. There is one. Okay, first of all, the first thing that came up was a pre-order for this version from Italy for €50. Are you fucking insane? I'm gonna set this to UK.
I imagine he might be rare on the basis that no one bought him potentially.
Well, Andy, the first thing
Jai says £26.
Yeah, first one was £26. The next one was £43, £30, £30, £30. You can get the original right now for about the same price.
Yeah, that's all right.
I just don't know. Like, there's just so many elements of that original that I wish I were better.
Sure. Yeah. No. Yeah. The original is definitely
it's a weird
flawed.
thing. It's a weird thing where I'm not sure. I think basically, if you want a Thundertron, it depends what you're looking for. I think I like the Beast mode enough that I would go with this version over re-getting the old one. But yeah, it ain't perfect. It ain't perfect.
No, neither of them are perfect, but I prefer the robot mode on the original, and I also own it. So, you know, this is one that would be an easy skippo for me, at least. Not my boy. Big D says Tigatron, Leo Prime, and Thundertron, 3 distinct Voyager big cats with no shed tooling. 'Tis true. Or I reach across to another shelf and grab mine. Oh yeah, Big D has one as well, I guess. Excel Hedge says, I can see Thundertron being remolded into Cyberverse Thunderhowl. Yep, we mentioned that. Big D says, I adore the OG Thundertron, but with Mikey, but I'm with Mikey. This has a lot of quality of life improvements. I think this will probably, like, if we're talking about it, I think this will be the better toy. Because obviously Thundertron came in at the bad time of Prime.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm, I don't think it's a question that this will be unquestionably more than likely a better toy, but it's not my preferred design choice. I suppose is still what I'm gonna be sitting on. It's not as bad as Knockout. It's not as bad as some of the other Prime RC, for instance. But for me, it's another like slap in the face of like, here's another Prime design that's been tweaked and not in a way that I would prefer. Jai appreciates the henchbot that can actually hold together who isn't made of chewing gum. Like I say, in terms of quality control, it will more than likely be better. Aesthetically, robot mode wise, I think it is a
I mean,
downgrade.
we hope it's going to be better, but QC can be a little give and take.
Oh,
He says, looking at his Tarn with his wobbly arm,
Oh, yeah.
or his Metal Hawk, whose bottom half of his face literally fell off.
You lie because you don't even have Metal Hawk, so you can't be looking at him. You gave him away.
I did until his face fell off.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. You say you're looking at him. You can't look at him. You gave him away. Fake news.
No, I had to throw him away because no one was going to take a toy where half the face literally fell off.
I thought you said you gave it to a child.
Yeah, they didn't want him in the end. It was my niece.
Okay. Oh, hateful. So we have not Armada. We have animated Optimus Prime. We got this basically just before the well, not just before, but like a few days beforehand. Some things about this I like, some things I don't. I think this is better than Bumblebee. I think this is better than Prowl, personally. I know some people are annoyed that he doesn't have the face mask, which is bizarre since most of animated Optimus Prime didn't have the face mask, mostly. What do you think of animated Optimus Prime, Michael?
I would have liked a bit of a mask swap, but overall I think this is a good take. The vehicle mode's great. Proportions look good. The face is pretty solid. I think this is like solid. I think this is a good looking figure. Looks fun. Hopefully the engineering is on point. This is the best version of Optimus Prime as a character. Fuck everyone else. Be blunt.
Wow.
I'm not wrong.
Did not like Transformers Prime, Optimus Prime.
Optimus, you want to see something funny? No.
He used to be fun once. When?
There's literally no evidence to support this. This is the best Optimus Prime as a character, so I like having a new opportunity. And as much as I appreciated that old animated toy, that was a toy really, really hampered by having a silly gimmick.
Yeah, it came out too early in the animated line. Basically, it's not bad. It's just got a few issues to it. So again, quality of life wise, this will probably be a bit better. The floaty, the front kind of quote unquote hidden wheels. I think this doesn't look good directly from the front in vehicle mode. I don't think this looks great from the front. It's okay from the sides, but directly on, you can kind of see those really thin wheels, and it looks a bit on the weird side to me. Otherwise, I think this is pretty solid. Who's he going to get done into, Mikey? Is he going to get done into Toxtron, or is he going to get done into Motormaster?
Rumors say Motormaster.
That would be neat. I'm good with either. It would be the first official release of either of them in animated form.
Yeah, and I like Motormaster. He was a good design. I like Toxtron. He was a good design. And people have pointed out, like, if you took the axe out, that basically looks like a plunger.
Yeah, I heard that too. Yep. Yeah, I think this is... Mikey, you have the Prowl, right? Do you think this looks better than the Prowl, would you say?
Yes, I do think this looks better than the Prowl. I think Prowl looks better than Bumblebee. I think this looks better than Prowl.
I think that's fair. Again, this wouldn't be one I'd rush to get, but I'm much more positive on this than I have been for the other ones.
Probably my priority buy from this wave.
Oh my god. Okay. Oh, wow. Mr. White says, hello, Mr. White. Agree with Mikey 100% on Transformers Animated Prime. There you go. He agrees with you. You are correct, Mikey, for a change. Excel Hedge says, sexy bot animated Prime. Big D, I dig him not having the faceplate. I actually prefer him not having the faceplate as well. Would it have been neat if he did have it? Sure.
Yeah, it would have been... I would like a gimmick for it, but I wouldn't like to see... Well, again, one of the things was the head was compromised for the gimmick
Massively.
In the original.
Yeah.
So you really could only get the deluxe, and the deluxe didn't have the right face. And like he barely uses the faceplates.
No.
After a certain point. I want a Sentinel now, to be honest.
That'd be interesting. I mean, I'd prefer oil slick personally, but you know.
But like, I want
oil slick.
I want Sentinel so we can complain about the chin being too small.
Oh, yeah, because they'd neuter his chin, wouldn't they? They cut it off. Jai, without having the faceplate, he looks like he belongs with Legacy Chase. Rescue vehicles assemble. I can see that, yeah.
Yeah, but like, I think Rescue Bots took some inspiration from animated and some of its styling.
I can see that. That. Next up, we have, after Optimus Prime, they showed off... Oh, Tiger Hawk.
Meow Bird.
Meow Bird. I was actually surprised to see him in these colors. These are the show accurate colors. I think for the most part he looks really good. In bird mode, his little tiny, very thin chicken legs look a little bit weird in the back. They look a bit scrawny.
Accurate to the original design.
Yes.
But there's no reason you couldn't have bulked him up a little bit there, guys, to make him look less like you've glued a bird onto the... Like, it looks like you've chopped him in half and there's a bird body glued onto a tiger.
See, I'm not sure I agree completely, because I think the engineering might be a factor in... Because clearly those are not faux feet on his shoulders. They are the back legs.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing it probably has something to do with the engineering, which is the reason why they're probably as thin as they are. Otherwise, I would agree with you. I prefer them to be a little bit more thick. Because it does look like he's not done any squats in his robot mode, which is a bit of a shame. I think the robot mode's waist is a little bit weird, but most of it's been hidden by his bird wing crotch.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
Like, it's easier to see, like, if we go to the spin around, like, his waist is in an unusual position.
It just looks a bit strange.
Yeah, it's like there's a shelf. Like the shelf between like his lower torso, like his waist and his upper torso. There's like a hinge or something there, and then they put the skirt there, and it creates an optical illusion that kind of distracts your eyes.
Yeah, it makes it flow a little bit cleaner, I suppose, the way that they try and fix it. Generally, I think he looks good, but there's those little worries that make me go, there's just something not quite right. What do you think about him generally, though, Mikey? Do you like it? Yeah?
Yeah, it's kind of like I've been never a character I was ever particularly fussed about.
He's only in like 2 episodes. What, 2? 1? 1? 2? Well, probably only like 10 minutes max. 3?
3 heathen.
Barely in any of them, though.
Yeah. And those are 3 episodes in a row. But yeah, I think he looks fine. Like the robot mode, I think is where he's strongest. I don't love the beast mode. I'm sorry, I just don't. It's just like those proportions really do kind of ruin it for me. I get like, as you say, it is probably an engineering thing, but I'm not in love with it. I'm not in love with it.
Yeah, I can see
I'm afraid.
that. Yeah, I think what I wanted was I wanted a little bit more. Probably is what I was after. I don't know exactly what, but hey. Excel Hedge says, kind of wish Tiger Hawk ditched the bird legs and used the animated error from Beast Wars where he used the robot mode legs. Oh, was that a thing? I don't remember that. Big D says, I mean, the original had much bigger thighs that the legs folded around that had smaller. This has smaller thighs and our hinged legs, and the hinged legs are longer. Excellent colors. So yeah, this is the first time we've actually got animated, accurate color scheme for Tiger Hawk, which is a good thing. Nice change. Yeah, and then we get Refresh. It's Generation 2 Optimus Prime again.
Yep, in the box. We're just open now. Open box.
Yeah. Does that have a plastic window or not?
Nope.
Oh, so the leaders can now be stolen out of the box.
Yep.
All right. Well, cool.
Yeah, I'm still like there's a shop near me. It's got 6 Toxitrons and 6 Dreadwings, and I'm just gonna wait until they like knock a bit off the price.
Oh man, how much are they going for?
Currently full price. I'm waiting for like a 10 or 15, 20 to get knocked off.
Yeah,
and they knock them off all the time. But just because like I want them both, but I don't want to pay like that much.
Oh,
for both.
I know, right? Yeah. Like Toxitron seems to be gone from most of the UK stores where you can buy them from, apart from Hasbro Pulse. I'll talk about that later, though, as we get into this stuff. But he's like £55 on Pulse, and I'm like, that's a rough price. Grimlock is still around, so I'm hoping Grimlock will go on a sale, because I hear that mold is... You've said it's fun. It's fun enough, right?
It's fun enough, and I think it looks amazing in these colors.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
I would like to get it. Definitely would like to get it. Other things that they did were they showed off the Hasbro Pulse exclusive, the Hotshot with Jolt. He's double the price and comes with Jolt and 2 extra guns and some blast effect parts with a new color scheme. Seems a little bit of a stinky price if you ask me, in terms of fairness, because he's £25 for the standard figure retail price. I think this set's like 40 something, mid 40s, high 40s. So it's like 2 figures. a little bit of a rough pill, if you ask me.
There was a comment. I'm just after reading through it now. There's a comment there. It just says, "RU Transmetals. Fans want that vac metal. We'll get there, maybe." And I was just like, if you release a Transmetal with fucking vacuum metal chrome over them, I will flip a table.
Why would you do that, Mikey?
Because it's wrong.
Why is it wrong, Mikey? Explain to the people.
It's hideous, for one.
Oh, I wouldn't say, that way.
Remember last time they did it?
No.
Jetfire.
Which Jetfire?
Combiner Wars Jetfire.
Oh, yeah, that was cheaply done. It was just other weapons, right?
And do you know what they do now, Andy? Do you think they'd spend more money on it? Do you?
Oh, no.
Do you?
You say it looks hideous, but then I remember Goldran on my shelf, and I'm like, fuck you, Goldran's amazing.
Yeah, but Goldran doesn't come apart when you look at him.
No, he doesn't.
It doesn't flake off when you look at him because it's made of, like, probably actual gold. They just murdered a guy and took his gold.
Oh, my God.
But, yeah, that was, like... Hey, anyone buy a Transmetal or a Transmetal 2 in the last few years and not notice his entire backside has fallen off? Like, don't use vac metal. Use metallic paint if you're going to do anything, but do not use vac metal. Fuck.
People like the shiny, Mikey. People love the shiny. Like pigeons. XL Head says open laser prime is going to missing so many matrices and heads. Oh yeah, that's a fair point. Big D says fair. I'm waiting on Dreadwing dropping. And Studio Series Grimlock is fantastic figure, no matter the colors. Never again, no vac metal. TFG1 Mike, I think we want the vac metal look without the vac metal material. Yeah.
Metallic paint.
Yeah, I mean, like model kit companies do very shiny, reflective metallic paints these days. Like Green Stuff World does the metal chrome line, and that's basically that. So just use that kind of paint, easy. Big D, always stop making me worried about digging my old Beast Wars collection out of a box in the wardrobe. Do it, you coward.
Hey, no, take out a Torca.
No, that's just gold plastic syndrome.
Yeah,
that's why I got the Japanese version.
now he's like, I'm worried. Just like, yeah, challenge yourself. Take out a Torca.
Oh my God, you just want him to cry, don't you, Mikey?
I want to see him try.
Oh my God. The big reveals of the show were not ones that were at the show. It was the showing off of Magmatron and Tidal Wave. And then we got a little bit later, we find out that Magmatron's going to be a commander, and I was not surprised because how else are you going to do that figure? How? Impossible.
Like, I can't, like, that's why I said they'd never do him. Like, yeah. Because, going by the art and the poster, they've redesigned a little bit. Like, the dino head is very different from the original. But it looks like it's going to be, like, pretty on point, at least in the upper body.
They're gonna have to fake most of that chest, right?
Don't know. Well, I don't know. I don't know.
Do you have the original?
Yeah, I do.
Because that was quite hard. Like most of that wasn't faked. Most of that was all of the parts.
Trying to remember. I think the red claws were not real. Let me double check.
No, they weren't. No, you're right. Yeah.
Actually, no. That chest was all fake in the original because it was the
all of it.
It was the dinosaur had it. The if you looked underneath the dinosaur, it was all there. The only thing that wasn't was the
all of the pterodactyl parts, which is what I mean. Which was
not the pterodactyl head and pterodactyl claws were original, but like everything else there, like they're trying to give the impression like the plesiosaur's body like folds round and forms a chest, and that I didn't do dinosaur. That. Most of it, like 90% of it's fake. It's just like the way it works with the body transformation is basically the head, the pterodactyl just becomes the entire head and like the thing, and it just slots in. So yeah, there's a lot of fakery going on. I would actually like less fakery, if I'm honest.
I don't think that'll happen.
I think at a commander budget, you should be able to do less fakery.
Yeah, but you've got to have like 3 posable figures that mush together.
Will it combine into a crappy centaur?
I don't care. Probably not, because we don't really do gimmicks these days, apart from falling apart figures, which is
all you
the
have
thing.
to do is add in a couple of hinges where you shove, like, you pull out the arms and they just work his feet, and then you shove one bit onto the other one, and then he just waddles along looking ridiculous. I want it.
No.
I want it to be like that. Also, what you've no excuse for not doing Beast Wars Galvatron now.
Well, I still say the cowards for not doing him now, but you know, if we have to have Magmatron before we get Galvatron, okay, fine. I don't mind. I'll be more annoyed if we get a Master Megatron from Cybertron before we get a pink Galvatron Dragon. I'll be more annoyed. Much more annoyed. I'm quite happy to hear that Magmatron's getting a toy, because we've only had one Magmatron, really. And then, I don't think he's ever had a repaint either. I think it's just Magmatron and that's it.
Yeah, he's had a re-release, but there was no changes or anything like that.
No, it's just, he is the Japanese version, but for America.
With rounded bits. We've rounded some bits.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it was barely noticeable, though. But no, this is really good news. Like you say, I don't know how else you're going to do him apart from at a Commander price point. I'm okay with that. I am mildly concerned of how good he's going to be, how fiddly he's going to be.
Yeah,
because like the original toy's fiddly.
I'll be honest, the original toy is a fucking nightmare to use. Like,
it's fine when you've done it. When he's transformed, you just like never undo it.
But he's so easy to break. It's so easy to break pegs in him.
Yeah,
getting him together is just like such a struggle. The chest never held together very well. Like the pegs that went into the back of the chest. Like, I think if you like, Commander is basically kind of where it's at for me at the moment in terms of like interesting gimmicks. Has been for a few years now.
You were a big fan of Rodimus, that's for sure.
Yeah. Listen, yeah, it's been a few years. But so like you should, in theory, with the Commander budget, be able to get this guy working properly without all the fiddliness. Like, you should. There's no reason you can't just make this be a much smoother experience than the original.
That's why I don't mind if any of it's faked. If the faking is there and it makes it less fiddly, I'm okay with that. As long as it's still a fun and easy transformation to do, that's pleasing and allows him to, move. I'm good with that. And then we find out Tidal Wave is going to be a Titan class, and I'm like, shit, it might be the only time a Titan size figure has tempted me since Scorponok, when Amazon fucked me over and I couldn't get it fixed. So I had to just say no to it. The interesting thing, though, is we see like Megatron in his combined form. Are you going to be able to combine Megatron?
According to the leak, it's from JT Prime, which probably means, like, by leak we mean it's completely accurate. There's going to be parts that come off of Tidal Wave that join onto the Armada Megatron or Galvatron. It's not a case of it's not going to be like you split him in three and then you glue him on. There'll be parts that come off of the big robot that can then be attached onto your Galvatron. Which, considering they are doing him a Titan class, I can't think of any other way they could do that.
Neither can I. So are they going to be like, they're just going to look like the original parts, but they're going to be not actually part of Tidal Wave? They're going to be like separate things? Presumably
they will. I'm assuming they are going to be parts of Tidal Wave. Like maybe
that's what I mean, yeah.
But they're not going to be like, there's going to be something left over. So which I'm very curious to see if that's going to be like if you take off the four limb robots, you've basically got a fully functioning Menasor, or is it going to be like, here's the Tidal Wave with no arms?
Yeah, it's interesting to try and figure how that's going to work, because like that combined Megatron mode has a very specific look. The only like the whole like right forearm is the entire middle section, and the whole left arm is the other entire front section of the bow, and the back. I think the back's the easiest one you can fake, because you can just make little wings to pop on his back. That's fine. It's just the front two. I mean, let's be fair. The combined Armada Megatron is not like a good mode or anything. It's not like Super Optimus Prime or anything. That's good. Megatron just literally got a dude, cut him into 3 parts, and then stuck him on parts of his body, which was always a bit on the rough side.
The best the best Armada Megatron upgrade mode was when it turned out like someone came up with a fan mode to stick the Gigant Bomber on there.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
Which was made official afterwards.
Really? Oh, neat. That's fun. Yeah. Obviously, we're going to be getting him in. Well, at least on the poster, they shown him in the animated color scheme versus the video game color scheme. I mean, that makes sense. You know, it is, I would say, a much more boring color scheme.
We won't get the Energon one.
No, we won't. It's, I'm thinking, we could, but then I'm like, we've never got the redo of Metroplex. So if we've never got that, probably not.
Hey, hey, Metro Titan.
Metro Titan. Never happened. Will never happen. It did happen with Omega Supreme, though.
Yeah, I think it was more marketable, to be honest.
Maybe. I wonder if they would try and do it. I think they'd try and get the video game version out. Oh, they could put it under the Gamer Studio Series line. Mark it up an extra $10 or €10 or something on a Titan class figure. That'd be fun. With the Titan class scale size, it seems potentially appropriate, especially since Omega Supreme kind of broke down into separate parts and combined together to make his weird base in quotations mode. I don't think he'll have all of the gimmicks that the original one did. They might try and make some of them better. Like, I was never a big fan of the back part, you know, where they made the quote-unquote seats, which no minicon could use. Maybe they fix them, you know?
I mean, there's a lot you could do.
Yeah. Are you interested in a Titan class tidal wave, Mikey?
It will really depend how he turns out.
Expensive. That's how it'll turn out.
Yeah, there was that as well. But I saw Nemesis during the weekend, and like, she's very big in person. She is so much bigger in person than you realize. She feels bigger than the Arc, and she's not.
Have you had her out of box?
Demonstrably not.
How did you see her out of box? Is it just you saw the box?
She was on display in the shop.
Oh, okay. All right.
And she was next to the Arc, and she felt bigger.
Like, to the point where you'd want to buy it?
Well, it just felt like, wow, when I saw her originally, didn't really think that she, you know, I expected her to feel small, but like, looking at her in person, like, she just felt big. But like, they're an investment to me, both in terms of money and real estate.
Yeah, room, definitely. Yeah.
So I still want a Trypticon. I know it's well past the time where it's anyway practical, and I missed out on the $50 ones. But I would still like a Trypticon. I would still like a Megatronia. I would still like a Trypticon. I got offered a Megatronia, but it was like top end prices, and I just couldn't justify it.
How much? 300.
350, I think.
Yeah. I'll offer this to you, Mikey, for a deal. How much? 350. Oh no.
350 Quatlus.
Oh no, that's too many Quatlus for me. Big D says, is it me or is it crazy that Victory, Saber, and Deathsaurus had to go HasLab, but frickin' Magmatron is getting a mainline combiner release? Well, it's almost like those figures could have been released at a normal toy price point, if you ask me. Right?
Yeah.
Could Star Saber have been done? Yeah. Could you have done Star Saber as a commander, even though that would have been a little bit shitty? And could you have done Leo Prime? No, Victory Leo as a leader? I think so. You definitely could have done Deathsaurus as a commander. Again, I think that would have been overpriced, but you could have done. Would have been cheaper than the HasLab version. Where's my Excel Hedge says, where's my big convoy / Nemesis Prime? It is weird that we've got like Leo Convoy, but not, and we've got the leader from Neo and the leader from Second of the opposite factions, not the other way around. Oh, sorry, we haven't got like the big convoy for Magmatron to go against. How dare Hasbro do Neo without Big and Nemesis? Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I mean, if they do a Prime, they can do a retool. Big D says retool Trypticon as Gigastorm, maybe. I mean, that's what they did originally. He wouldn't be the correct size, though. Because, like, in Second, he was just a normal size thing. Like, he wasn't massive, right?
No, he was smaller than Galvatron.
Yeah, so
Galvatron was ridiculous. I mean, relative to Beast Wars standards, but he was ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, if they just Control T the Titans figure down and change the head, I'd be all right with that. That'd be fine. TF Mike says Rodimus rules. What do you think of that, Mikey?
You're wrong.
Excelhead says Rodimus does nothing wrong.
He does many things wrong.
Yeah, that
There's
toy's,
a reason
that
he
toy's
was.
bad.
You know how much he was selling for in Smiths?
How much?
50 by the end of it.
That's still too much. That's still too much. Yeah, I still think you get ripped off.
I just don't want a $40 figure with a $100 box.
Yeah.
Which is what it was when it was like translated over here.
He didn't even have the right face. He looked way older as well than like Rodimus should. He looked like he was Cup's age, relatively speaking. Big D, can you imagine a Titan with that much clear plastic as Energon Tidal? No. Yeah, here's the thing with Energon Tidal Wave. I don't think you can do Energon Tidal Wave and do him with translucent plastic because he will explode, especially Titan's class. Jesus, can you imagine like his shoulders, his elbows, because they're all translucent, and then being the Titan scale? Oof, those arms will fall off in time, guaranteed. Mike Exelhead says, "Hey, I offered a $50 Triptychon, but you said no."
I wasn't able to pay for a $50 Triptychon then. That's why I missed out in other places.
Also, Exelhead, it wasn't $50. It was $50 plus shipping plus import.
Plus like blood tax. You know, they actually come into your house and like slice a vein. It's a bit weird.
I'm guessing like with the additions to that, it was probably more like $100. I would imagine. Right?
I mean, that still would have been cheaper than buying a new.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Too rich for Mikey's blood. Was that, what else did you have to say about like the Unite stuff? I think it's interesting that there's like no G1 stuff. I know other people have mentioned that. Yeah, I think that's kind of nice change.
Yeah, I'm not pretty. Okay, so this is a weird. This is what the conversation that struck me, and it was just like I thought it was a strange conversation to be having.
Okay.
Which was this came out of This came out of Thundertron, actually, and I heard people start going like, he doesn't deserve a spot.
Who?
Thundertron. He doesn't deserve a spot on the line. There's other characters that deserve the spot more, and they were annoyed by that.
I mean,
and they weren't talking about the figure or anything like that. They were saying like as a character, he doesn't deserve a spot, which is, to me, the most nebulous thing you can say about something like a toy line, because what does deserve a spot mean? Did the Junkion Voyager guy, or any of the other Junkions, or the Fossilizers, or any new character deserve a spot? What does that mean?
I think it's a way of saying I would prefer a different character, and I can see why, because who's Thundertron? He wasn't in any show. He's had no fiction. He had a toy that didn't really make much of an impact, and only one toy. So I get where it's coming from. I don't think it's phrased in a desperately good sense, but
I don't agree with that sentiment.
That's fine. I don't think you have to agree with it. I can understand where people are coming from.
I understand. So, like, intellectually, maybe, but I do think it's a pretty unhealthy attitude to take.
I mean, it is a toy line for children, so yes. But I mean, what would you prefer if I said Mikey Thundertron or like Beast Wars Second Galvatron?
I would say out of those, for one, the only reason I pick Galvatron more is because of the gimmicks, and I enjoyed the gimmicks and the aesthetic. But that's not me saying that Galvatron deserves a spot.
I would say he deserves it more because we've got Leo Prime. So
I just don't think anyone deserves. I don't think Optimus fucking deserves a spot.
Well, because we've had 3,000 Optimus Primes.
I just think that I would rather have brand new characters than recycling old characters any day right nowadays.
That's not what this line is.
What I'm saying is, I think it's a bit of a silly thing to say that anyone deserves a spot in this toy line, because no one does. And it's literally just like, who does?
I disagree. This is a legacy line. This is like
it's not.
Well, that's what it's what it's touted as. I mean, it is, because why else are we getting Magmatron and other old characters who haven't had toys since their original release? Because it's the legacy line. It's meant to be it's touted as a celebration of previously older of the franchises and the different things coming together. So when you say like the new fossilizers and rock things, I'd rather there not be there. I'd rather there be another character. Using the specific term they deserve to be there is a strange one for me. I think a better word is I would prefer, and then insert a character name, personally. But yeah, saying I would prefer someone else than Thundertron, I think is a fair response.
I mean, I think saying you'd prefer someone else, but like the fact that I've heard this attitude so much, it's not about what I'd like. It's like no. They like there is an objective opinion that this is how it should be. That is what I'm hearing.
I mean, this is the internet, Mikey. This is the hyperbolic world of the internet. So it's just it's one of those things that really just struck me as a silly thing to say, and like very rarely does something strike me that hard as being like that's just that's just a silly thing to say. It is a silly thing to say, and I think all they had to do was rephrase it as I would prefer. Because it effectively means the exact same to them. Like, it means the same thing. They're just using a more aggressive term for it, as far as I can tell. They're getting wrapped up in the excitement of like I think this character deserves it. Like if you just said it offhand, I think this character deserves a spot over this character. I'd be like, I see what you're saying. But when you break down and you go like, what does it mean to deserve a spot in a children's toy line? I think that's. I understand why that would be a little bit rubbing the cat the wrong way for you. I can understand that. I think people just needed to rephrase themselves.
Just pet with the fur. For fuck's sake, just pet with the fur.
And Mikey's being petted the wrong way. Mr. White says doesn't deserve a spot, just reads poorly. Yeah, I agree. Sounds like a comment I used to read on the forums, but prefer Andy's alternate version. Oh, thank you. And
never agree with Andy.
Too late. Yeah. Andy, are you asking for nuance on the internet? No, Mikey's asking for nuance on the internet. I'm saying that's not fucking happening. That never happens. Yeah, because if we're talking about it, I prefer Chase not to be there. I'd prefer that they don't have two animated characters. I think if we had, I mean, because I don't like Bumblebee. If we change Bumblebee to someone else, I would prefer that. I'd prefer a better version of Windblade as well, but you know. I'd prefer not the version of Windblade we're getting, but I think for this wave of figures that we're getting for Unite, which I don't think the names ever really fucking matter for the line. At the end of the day, does it? Unite. What was the previous one? Evolve.
It was Evolution, and then just Legacy, and now Unite.
Yeah, I don't think that ever matters. It's just a random thing they're tacking on. What was I saying? Yeah, the nicest thing is there's no G1, just for a little bit of a mix-up, because that can be shunted to Studio Series, I guess, where you'll pay extra for it. None of the initial stuff is something I want. I want the Magmatron, potentially, depending on how it looks when it comes out, and strangely enough, potentially the Tidal Wave as well. Those will be interesting, and then the rest of them are just kind of like, wait and see how they look. I think it's more my opinion, like Tigerhawk. Like, will people give it the Megatron Transmetal 2 Megatron seal of approval, etc., etc.? Are there any standout things that you must get, Mikey, or are they floating in the mech or the poo category for you?
It's definitely a case of like wait and see.
All of it's wait and see, would you say?
Yeah, so far. Okay. Optimus is probably the priority for me, but it is also like, okay, if he's crap, I'm not going to bother.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I can understand that. I'm actually sad that we didn't get another Armada figure, oddly enough. I would have liked to have seen one more Armada dude, maybe like Demolisher or something as a little deluxe boy. That'd be nice. Just to slowly build out that Armada shelf, because there's like five Armada guys at this point. And we know that Wheeljack is going to be coming at some point in the future, just not yet. XL Edge says, question about animated Prime. Which third party is going to complete the fire truck, or which one is going to do the powered master version? That's a good question.
DNA.
It's going to be 100 quid for that upgrade to Power Armor Master to Power Minimum. Master Prime. It's going to be like silly expensive.
Oh yeah.
Big D says, saying that I'd not be surprised if there was some latter day G1 characters turn up in later waves of United. I mean, I don't think we'll be done with G1, because we're never done with G1. We always kind of swing back to hopefully the more interesting sides of G1, like I don't know, a nice new punch counter punch I'd be okay with. Yeah, that'd be fun. I'm trying to think of other rando bots. But there are still G1 characters we could do, or G2, you know, that kind of floaty thing would be nice to see. But Mikey, what do you hope for? Do you think from the Legacy line?
Well, I hope this is going to be the last year of it. One way or the other, I'd say it's pretty.
Well,
inarguable.
It's going to change into something, but it'll be the same, really, won't it?
As is all. Like the biggest thing that changed about the Legacy line was not like the theming; it was the fact that John Warden moved on.
Yes.
And he was one of the biggest pushes behind for a very, very strong G1 aesthetic and tie-in. So, you know, and that's not me criticizing the man or anything like that, but it is kind of inarguable. The new guys are from a different generation. They grew up in different environment. They were into different things and blah, blah. But what I want to see is... I hope the QC is brought up to snuff. There was just too many times in the last line I felt QC was not where it needed to be. I'm hoping that there are plenty of things that the leakers haven't spoiled for us, because obviously there's at least one or two, because Magmatron and Tidal Wave were not on the leaker list at all.
I don't know. We got a pretty big list a few weeks back. Pretty big.
Yep, I went through... Going by how releases have been last year, I would say there's spot for another 5 to 10 figures that we haven't heard about. And I'm hoping if there are 5 to 10 that come out that we definitely haven't heard about, it would be really, really interesting to me. What came out? But yeah, I'm very, very curious. I'm very curious to see where it goes. I'm curious to see like what their angle is going to be when this ends.
What's your angle, mate? What are you doing? Was there anything else at Pulsecon that you saw that was interesting? I would get it up on screen, but everything has just taken a shit on my computer at the moment, so I won't be able to. So was there?
Say again?
Was there anything else at Pulsecon that you thought that was interesting?
I heard you say shit on my computer, and I went,
Was there anything else interesting you saw at Pulsecon that you thought was interesting for you, like DC stuff or GI? Well, probably not GI Joe, but
Lightning Collection was pitifully
right.
represented, absolutely pitifully represented. The Omega Rangers are the only interesting thing there, and they've left. They didn't give us the Cat one. Like, the only thing they need to do for me to think Lightning Collection's worth picking up now is do the Cat and do the Mutant Rangers from the TMNT crossover.
Are they still doing the monsters from the Power Rangers stuff? Has that stopped?
From what I've heard, Lightning Collection's going to be taking a break soon. So yeah. The D&D and the magic stuff, that wasn't ending particularly interesting. They revealed a new source book, I think.
They spent ages on that. Ages.
Which is fine, which I get why, but like I don't think Pulsecon is the environment to do that. That is something you do in like a much more targeted thing, because as long as they spent on it, it is not long enough.
And they were running out of time by the end, and I think that took up a little too much time. I thought I saw that they were doing 3-4 new dice, or were they just repaints?
I think there's some new dice. I don't know if
there's a green dragon, there was a brown owl bear, there was a mimic, that's already out, isn't it?
All three of them are out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I've got the brown owl bear. That's my owl bear.
Oh.
Far as I know, they didn't announce any new molds or anything like that.
Yeah. I thought that's why they showed them on stream, because they were new. At least new repaints. Oh well, never mind. Was that it, or was there anything else that you saw that
I wouldn't say I was super excited for anything else. I think the two lads did a really good job as hosts. But apart from that, it's kind of like cool. Move on. I think this is one of those events that is not grand enough for the amount of weight it's given. No, there's I assume there's a lot of money put behind these things as well. I would imagine. We had new people, new guy in the Hall of Fame, and the Hall of Fame had long since stopped being meaningful.
Yeah.
We had like Skybite was voted the best R.I.D. character, and people are wondering like, does that mean we're getting Skybite as a new figure or something like that?
The previous Skybite was not great. So I'd be.
It was
okay
flawed.
It was very flawed. Very flawed.
Like it's just, yeah, those to me are hangovers of a time when this was a much grander event. Like when BotCon was something people traveled from all over the world to go to. And it, like, BotCon was an event. You had guests, you had, like, on top of guests, you had artists, you had fan artists, you had TV producers, you had directors, you had all these things. You had a big dinner in the end, and then you had this big grand ceremony and everything else like that. And now it's like, cool, you have an hour in the middle of a much larger thing, which is just about product.
Yeah.
It is just about showing you product. So to me, the Hall of Fame as it is, like, feels very, very much like a holdover. And the fan votes feel very, very much like a holdover from a very different era.
Yeah, well, they don't matter. It doesn't feel like it matters. It just feels like
your
it's
fan
a thing.
votes isn't like picking a character. Like, you're not picking a toy anymore.
No.
Like, you're just voting who's your favorite character. Cool. Does this mean anything for what's going forward? Nope.
Yeah.
The Hall of Fame means nothing. Like, did they give them an award?
I doubt it.
You know, like, they don't. There's a lot of pomp and not much circumstance.
It's a bizarre kind of practice, at least in my eyes. I will say for me, G.I. Joe wise, they showed a couple of things which I was interested in. I was really happy to see Buzzer and Ripper. 2 more Dreadnoughts. We just need Torch, and then we've got the rest of Tut Lads from G.I. Joe. They were the big ones. The other kind of G.I. Joe stuff I thought was neat, but primarily it was Buzzer and Ripper. I tried to pre-order them, but again, I'll get to that when I talk about what I've been up to this week. But yeah, that was about as much as interested me from the con. I did watch most of it, but for the most part, those were the only properties that really interested me. The G.I. Joe stuff, which was at the end of the show, and Transformers, which was at the beginning. I didn't really care for anything too much else, to be honest. The only other bit of news that we had this week, the last bit of news I should say, is the fact that Gary Chalk is going to be heading to Orlando for TFCon, which is next month. It's under a month away. In a month's time, it'll be over. It'll be done and dusted. So if you are going to Orlando, you can go and say hello to the Gary Chalk. He's done lots of things. Lots and many of things. So
many things.
Mikey, what have you been up to this week? What have you done for fun? I wish I could get some images on screen, but as I said, everything's bugged for some reason.
Bugged. Didn't do a ton this week. A lot of work. A lot of work. But what would be notable? I watched New King Oger, which was good. It was after the last couple of episodes have been very character focused. This was very plot focused. Big plot reveals. New villain introduced. Very familiar face that I was like, they're wearing a lot of makeup and a lot of like fake tattoos and stuff, but no, it's not. Is it? It's not. I'm going to double check. It is. He's just wearing a million different bits of makeup on him. So this isn't major spoiler, but Tachibana-san, Garen's back in Sentai. I think it's his first appearance in Sentai, actually. Who apparently he got involved because he was watching the show already and was like, I love this.
Really? Oh, that's fun. That's
like
neat.
he hasn't really done much TV in a good few years, but he keeps coming back to do writer stuff.
Oh, is he like the Decade guy? He's really into Tokusatsu. And he's like, yep, more. I'll do more.
So like, yeah, and his wife was in the King Oger movie.
Oh, really? Wow. So it's a whole family thing. That's neat.
Yep. Like, and I just like the image. Just like she didn't want to be. It's just like, they're hiring. Yeah, but they're hiring.
I'm just saying, if you get a job, maybe I'll get a job.
Hey, think of your husband. Think of your buddy.
Yeah.
I'm your buddy. I'm your pal. Yeah. So yeah, he plays a new villain, and the villain is cool. I like how they do the villain. They're a bit different from the other villains in the show, but they are cool. And then it ends on something that I should have expected, but didn't. So yeah, King Oger, still excellent. Really nothing else to say. Still very, 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 very good. Didn't really watch anything else TV wise. No, I've been playing games a little bit.
Oh my god!
playing games. Got Baldur's Gate, installed Baldur's Gate. Haven't sat down to Baldur's Gate yet.
It's that good.
Haven't done it. I feel like once I sit down, it's something like, well, there's my day gone, so I need to make sure I've got a day free. I have been playing Pathfinder, which is another kind of like it's based on a game that's an offshoot of D&D, and then kind of went off on its own. I've been playing that for about like a week or so. That was fun. The story's fairly weak, but it was fun until it hit a point where I realized that whoever was programming the difficulty in this game is a fucking lunatic.
Oh.
There are difficulty spikes, and I literally can't get through this section at the recommended level because the recommended level is 10, and this is a level 20 boss.
What kind of game is Pathfinder? Is it
it's similar
RPG?
to Baldur's Gate.
Okay.
Similar to Baldur's Gate and how it's laid out. It's not does not look half as polished, but it's like gets good reviews. But it's been out for a few years, and I was just like, I literally can't get through this without turning enemy difficulty down to like half.
Oh man!
Like you can change enemy difficulty at any time, and I really think it's because like the game is fucking broken. It drops like events on you, right? That you have no way of predicting are going to happen, that are unavoidable, that are like a 3-hour siege. You don't know if you need to level up, but you have to go through wave after wave after wave, and it is ridiculous. Whoever programmed that, like the game is fun until it hits moments like that, and you're just like getting angry at it. I've literally uninstalled it. Like I got so annoyed. I was just like, no, I'm good. I got a box from Hobby Frontline. That stuff I bought ages back, and I just shipped them now. So I got it's a little cross silhouette Gundam thingy called Tornado. I've never done the cross silhouette line, so I wanted to try it. So I'm looking forward to that. I haven't like even begun to touch this yet, but number 57 are a group who do a fair few variety model kits, and they've been doing a line called Manhunters, which are like weird, like animals in mech suits. And like these are like high grade level animals in mech suits ideas. So like they've done frogs, and like you'll have a frog and you'll have multiple frog heads you can do with a different like species of frog to make it look different. They got a new one coming out which is like a little fish in a mech suit, a fish driving a mech suit. So like there's a fish bowl, and then you put a robot around it, and you can change the fish that's inside it. And but the original one for this was the Deep Sea Ripper, which was sharks that turn into basically a submarine. And so you get 3 different types of sharks, and then you build a suit around it. And I'm just like, I'm really looking forward to building it, but I was kind of shocked because high grade, about €20 it cost me. There are 15 runners, Andy.
That's a hell of an amount of runners for a high grade. How much was it?
15 runners. 20.
Damn, that's really good.
They've done a lot of other
quality.
Every review I found beforehand was that this is an amazing kit.
Huh. Well, if it's got 15 runners for that much money, yeah, no shit.
Yeah,
that's like
but the big thing I got,
great amount of runners.
Yeah, it's huge. I was like, hang on, why is the box so tall? Oh my god. But I have, I also got something like I haven't sat down to play with this properly. I've only like fiddled with it a bit, but I got a Devil Hunter Black Flag, which is a third-party hyper stylized Crossbone X1 metal build. Mm-hmm. So it's basically the highest, like the metal build is kind of the highest of the highest thing, but they're action figures, they're not buildable things. A lot of like diecast, usually a bit of stylization, but usually €300-400 top. I paid 95 for this, and I'm kind of shocked at the quality. The butt flaps are very loose. That is the worst thing I could say about this. Oh, and the sword is so massive and full of so much metal, it does make the wrist kind of like struggle to hold it up if it's just trying to hold it up with one hand. But the handle extends, the handle, which is made of metal, which I've never seen before, extends, and it can be held with 2 hands, and when it's like that, it's perfect. And then it turns into like a scythe or like a big energy anchor. You can upgrade it into the full cloth. It's got loads of modularity. Got little fun little like wrist weapons and flick out knives and stuff like that. Got a ton. I really want to sit down and play with it properly over the next week or so, and really have a good informed opinion next week. But like, just the sheer build quality, everything is painted on this. Like this was like getting like when I got Hayatoy's Kong after only doing Monster Arts, just like Monster Arts over €100. Yeah. Very few accessories. Yeah. Dubious sculpt. Increasingly dubious sculpt. Yeah. Increasingly dubious paint job. Yeah. 120. Yeah. Hiya toys. Yeah. 50. Yeah. Perfect.
Done.
Oh, is it better? Yes. Does it come up? Yes. Is the paint job? Yes. But yes.
It's always a risky business, isn't it? Trying out a new company that you've never heard of, or like a fourth party KO company, because the KOs can either go one of two ways: cheap and absolute dog shit, or cheap and shockingly good. Shockingly good.
Yeah, I like this line has like I believe like they started off basically kind of like basing a lot of stuff off the Barbados, like original designs, but based around the Barbados skeleton.
Okay.
And then they moved on and they've started doing more like their own take on things. They've got a couple more, like a lot of stuff based on like samurai and stuff like that. Honestly, I would say if you're interested in trying a metal build experience, but you do not want to pay out for the nose, these guys are worth looking into just for the quality of the figure.
Yeah.
Even if you like have no interest in crossbone or no interest in a lot of stuff, like if you think samurai robots are cool, go get a samurai. If you think pirate robots are cool, these are good ones to get. Yeah, so I'm just that's just by handling it. I really need to like dig into it deeply in the next week or so. But yeah, I'll probably have a deeper opinion of that next week. But yeah, that was kind of my week really. A lot of work this week. A lot of work. I was on field trips a lot, so I was very tired.
Oh my god.
What about you, Andy?
I got some things in post because In Demand Toys had a sale going on. I got I think I mentioned this last week. I got, but they actually came through Crankcase, Hotshot, and Megatron, Transmetal 2 Megatron. The Crankcase is unfortunately the worst of the figures. He's very boring as a Transformer, kind of loose in some places, and just an unfortunately pretty boring transformation. Like an incredibly dull transformation. He's not like a terrible figure. He's just very boring. But for 12 quid, I'm not going to sniff too hard. If I'd paid 25 for it, I would have been legitimately very annoyed with it. I wish the front gun, you know, how he has that kind of fake front of the car that you pull off and make into a fake gun. I wish the barrels on it were a bit more like a gun rather than two little nubs that come out of it. But apart from he's fine. I just wish he was a little bit better. But again, 12 quid, whatever. I don't care. I'm actually shocked how much I like the Hotshot. The Hotshot is a pretty good figure from the waist up. It's basically the waist down. Like the legs are a mystery why they made the transformation the way that they did. Just because you've seen the images, you know that the back of the car, like the front of the car window and the top of the car, basically cram up his knee articulation. They're in a very ugly place. They don't really peg into the back of the foot. They kind of float there. It's just a bizarre design, the entire thing, why they did that way. I think doing a similar transformation to the Combiner... Do you remember the Combiner Wars? How you kind of pulled... you unpegged the shin and pulled it down, and you pulled it up and it connected to the knee?
Yeah.
I think doing it that way would have probably given the exact same result, but cleaner and a lot better. But the actual transformation, apart from the legs, is pretty good. He looks good. He's got decent articulation from the waist up, and he even does his Power Links gimmick, obviously without his minicon. I'm actually surprised how much I like him. I really like the shoulders, how the shoulders kind of transform in the backpack. He's a surprisingly good little toy. Not to the point where I want to spend 40 or more than £40 for the Power Links version with Jolt. I still, as I mentioned before, I think that's a rip-off for what you're getting there. But yeah, Megatron, Transmetal 2 Megatron. People are right. He's very good. I think his proportions are a little bit strange. He's got very broad chest. I think the way that you fix his proportions are you give him bigger shoulders. I think that would have helped it. You've got Transmetal Megatron, don't you?
Yeah, I think you get a point.
Yeah, if those were a bit bigger, they'd help his overall look for the robot mode. Transformation's okay. It's not too bad. It's maybe a little bit... I never feel like when I'm transforming him back and pegging in the dragon claws into his chest, I know exactly how they're going in. It doesn't feel like they peg in. It's more of a friction tab, isn't it? More so than a click.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, and it's the same for the head. When I'm connecting the head and the neck joint to the torso. I feel like the dragon arms, because they've got little spikes on them, kind of try and want to push the head of the robot mode away and out of position a little bit, which makes it a little bit awkward. It's not the worst thing ever. It's just one of those like, it's a bit annoying. I don't know how else you do that, but I will say dragon mode, a lot of fun. Transforming him, a lot of fun. He looks good. I shouldn't, but I'm considering getting the DNA. I did like extra tail part, and I don't think the chest part is needed. That feels like a waste of money, to be honest. It doesn't really do too much, but I would like a more accurate face. I think that's the thing with the Megatron. I'd like a better show accurate face versus the cartoon face. But I can see why people like him so much. I don't think I would have liked him at 55, but at 34, yeah, definitely improved. I was quite surprised about how pleased I was with everything in my little box. And I did also pick up, I haven't got him yet, but I did buy the Legacy Galvatron, which is Kingdom Galvatron, but without the slop on him. He was like 25 pounds or something.
I've got the clear purple version of that.
How's the mold? I can't remember what you said. Did you like it?
Really solid mold, in all honesty. Really solid mold.
Yeah, that's kind of why I got it. 25 quid. I'm like, why not? Why, lead it for 20, that much? Less than a deluxe? Sure. Yeah, why not? He looked fun. I've got the Windblade coming, as I mentioned, and next week, when I go around to see my mate, I know that their Smiths has a shrapnel for 17 quid, so I'll be picking up shrapnel.
Ooh. Yeah.
Because I know for a fact that, like, Bombshell is out. That wave, Bombshell's wave, is now out at Smiths.
Yeah, I've seen him in person.
I did almost pick him up because I went to see Gruff over the weekend, and that's when I saw him. And I was like, do I pick him up? And then I looked and saw 25 quid, and I was like, no, I can't do it. I was also considering doing the dumb and picking up Toxitron. The only place I could find him for reasonable money was Hasbro Pulse, where he's 55 quid. I clenched my anus tight, and I went through the add to cart, got all the way through, and got to the checkout menu and found out right at the end that they don't accept debit card. They only accept MasterCard, credit card, and PayPal. PayPal still doesn't work for me. I do not have a credit card, and I don't have a MasterCard. And I was like, well, guess I'm fucked, aren't I?
Just sending them a message. Well, fuck now, haven't I?
Yeah, pretty much. The other reason why I was doing it is because the G.I. Joe figures, the classified figures, they were up on pre-order. If you want G.I. Joe classified figures from our import stores, they have gone up in price, Mikey, by quite a bit.
Oh dear.
Minimum 27, max for a deluxe, for a standard figure 30.
Oh dear.
It's just a 6-inch figure. And I think it's because the UK shops don't get in stock. They have to import stock. But Hasbro Pulse has them for their £24, which is still a lot of money, but it's not 30 quid. So I was going to pre-order Buzzer and Ripper, but then had that problem as well. And I'm like, oh, for God's sake. It's a little bit disheartening. It makes me feel like I just can't buy the G.I. Joe line because there's no way to do it at a reasonable price, and I'm not willing to do 30 quid a figure. That's a hell of an amount of money for a 6-inch toy.
No, I was in Dublin over the weekend, and I was like, I saw Pimp Daddy Destro. I was just like, he's 25 euros. I could probably be convinced of that maybe when I get paid next. And I'm just like, if he was 30 euros or 35 euros, I would struggle.
Yeah.
So, and like, he's the only one I'd want as well. Like, they've got like, I think they've got the whole line there. But
yeah, well, you're not really a G.I. Joe person, I suppose. So
and
it makes
like,
sense.
Yeah, I was just sitting there going like, Destro just because it's insane. But apart from that, like, so, but like for one action figure, like for what he comes with, like 25 is a very reasonable price. Yeah. I don't think above that is a reasonable price.
No, the newer figures do come with more than the first wave of figures, but again, not to the point where I think it's 30. It's just too rough for my blood. And again, the Toxitron, I'm disappointed that it's as much as it is, or as difficult to get as it seems to be. I'm still hoping In Demand Toys will put up a sale, and I might be able to get the G2 Grimlock for cheaper. I guess it just depends when those kind of prices slide down. I was also looking at prices for the Studio Series Hot Rod, and these just on like eBay for 40 quid. I'm like, holy shit, for a Voyager. Holy shit. I was annoyed when he was 30. Oh boy. But yeah, that's been about it. Watching wise, I've just been watching Konosuba. It's a grand old time, Mikey. I'm halfway through the movie again. I've only seen the movie once, and it was live. Well, I did actual cinema, so it's still nice to go back and see. I'm annoyed that that's not on Blu-ray for some reason, at least in our country. I know. Maybe one day. When are we meant to get season 3? Wasn't there rumors that a new season was coming?
It's in development. We're getting season. I've just found this out. We're getting season 3 of Shield Hero next week or something like that. I completely missed that.
Shield Hero died for me after the first 10 episodes of season 2 was crap.
For me, it's like that first bit with the turtle made no goddamn sense.
No.
And then you had a story that was clearly a much bigger story that you trimmed down into 6 episodes.
Yeah.
So please, for the love of God, just do a 26 episode season for whatever's coming next, and I'll definitely try it. But it's just the first season was so good.
Yeah, it was really fun. I was meaning to ask you, Mikey, because I thought you might know. When's ReZero season 3? When?
I don't know. I know that I've seen a production picture of it.
Oh God, 2 years time probably.
And then it's just well. How much do you have enough material to adapt? Oh, plenty. We have plenty of material now. They're well behind the books.
How is it that some shows just keep getting seasons like One Piece?
Well, One Piece will go long. One Piece is going to be like Naruto. It's going to end, and then they're just going to do a sequel series.
Just give me.
And then everyone will hate the sequel series, and then they'll reboot the sequel series, and people will still hate it, but they won't stop because it is technically making money.
Give me my Konosuba. Give me my ReZero. Give me my Masoka Tensei. Give me that.
Konosuba's over, the story of Konosuba is over. The light novels have been over for years. The story's been there. They just have to adapt it.
Nah. It's so long since the movie. I think wasn't it it wasn't 2009, was it?
3-4 years now.
Yeah, it must have been 2019 because it was before the pandemic.
Yeah, I remember because I saw it in the cinema, and I definitely remember it was within living memory.
Oh my God, it's so annoying. It means that I'm gonna get the second half of Masoka Tensei is going to be coming through for me this week, and then probably once I finish doing that, I might try your King Oja woo woo. Potentially, we'll see. The first half of that of Masoka Tensei season 2 is nearly done as well, and that's been very good. But that's no shock. Masoka Tensei is a great show. But that's it, everybody. I would have shown more stuff on screen, but my entire PC's balked. I think something's gone wrong. Oddly enough, it was when I tried to open the gas skunk image. It gas skunked my PC up, so I'm probably going to have to turn off the PC and hopefully sort that out. Mikey Bill, where can people find you on the internet if you want to?
You can find me on Twitter as Irish Parallel. You can find me on Facebook as me. And I never use Facebook anymore, really. But and yeah, if you want to contact us, there's Moonbase 2 Twitter and the Moonbase 2 email and our Facebook and our Libsyn and our Patreon and everywhere else if you want to talk to us.
Woo!
We're easy to talk to.
Yeah, well, theoretically. XL Hedge says Konosuba will continue with Kazuma and Megumin's kid. No, I just want I don't believe Kazuma can reproduce.
No. Kazuma and Megumin's kids raised by Aqua.
Oh no.
They will learn so much that they need to know to be a good and productive member of society. Aqua did nothing wrong.
I'm out of the 3 of them, who would be the best mum? It's God, none of them.
Aqua did nothing wrong.
Do you really want Darkness to be a mother figure? No. Do you want Megumin? No. Do you want Aqua? No. She's a drunk.
Yes.
No,
she's fine.
No.
She is grounded and understands the world.
Oh my God, no.
Aqua did nothing wrong.
Really? I'm watching the show again, Mikey. She's doing so much wrong.
Nothing wrong. Aqua's perfect.
The Access Church. The Access Cult, I should say. It's not a church, it's a cult.
She's so cool.
You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube as Decayed Andy, the rotten, fleshy corpse of a human being. You can find us on the Moonbase 2 forums, Twitter, iTunes, Facebook, Libsyn, patreon.com/Moonbase2/ Moonbase 2, patreon.com/Moonbase 2. Yeah, that's the one. And the ccbunker.weebly.com. We're over there as well if you want to help out the show. Much appreciated. Anything else? I think that's it. Sir Jack says, my boy the Jack says, give me more Berserk manga chapters. I think they've started that up again.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Neither do I. I don't know.
I mean, I think it says so much about the. I mean, this is not a criticism on the story in question. It's just like the way manga production works. You've got forever to do it, and then sometimes you don't have forever to do it, and then someone's going to come in and whatever they say about they're doing it by your notes. It's never going to be the story you were going to tell. It's never ever going to be the same story. And I think with something like Berserk, I almost wish it wouldn't come back.
I mean, you don't read it, but I can understand where you're coming from with that. I think for me it would depend. It depends how it's handled. I mean, if there's a clear slump in quality, then obviously I'll be like, no, get the fuck out of here. But I wouldn't mind seeing the ending, even though it isn't the author's intended one. You know, I wouldn't mind seeing the end of the story, as long as it's not like an anime end versus the manga end, shall we say, that we used to get in the noughties, like for Claymore, which was not a good way to end the anime.
That was a disaster.
Yeah.
To be fair, the manga was also a disaster.
I still like the Claymore anime until the end.
Yeah. Yep. You know? I like the Claymore manga until the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a terrible end. It was an awful ending.
It goes very shonen, which it is. It's a shonen series, so you kind of go, oh yeah, this is the genre, I suppose.
It was so messy. It got so messy.
It did. Anyway, thank you everybody for coming on by. I'll be streaming obviously on Tuesday. If you want to come back for Armored Core and all that jazz, we'll be back for Moonbase 2 next week. If you want to join in, we are here on Sunday at 8 o'clock in the evening UK time. If you want to join the chatteroonies and chat away with us and leave messages, and I'll comment on them and relay them to Mikey, etc., etc. They may even be comments that say Mikey's right for a change, which is probably nice for him to hear because he's always wrong. Well, until next week, everybody, thanks for coming on by for the Moonbase 2, and we'll catch you next week, everybody. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.